98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get into this afternoon as we'll talk a lot of basketball as we're getting closer and closer to Sweet 16 action. That'll get started tomorrow evening. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the news that came out last night. North Carolina has made the decision. They will be looking for a new head coach. We'll get into that. Perfect day to get into that with the guests that we will have. Also, LSU, maybe something could be happening there over the next couple of days, next week or so. So plenty to talk about, not just on the basketball court. We'll talk some in NBA as well. Major League Baseball gets started tonight with a regular season game between the Yankees and the Giants. So a lot to get into over these next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well. Never boring at LSU, is it?
No, never a dull day down in the bayou.
And our friend Brad Crawford had an interesting tweet earlier. He said, "Where's this LSU money printer located?" $38 million plus for the football roster, $15 million put aside for basketball, rumored, $54 million for Brian Kelly's buyout, $91 million for Lane Kiffin's new deal. Coach Mulkey and the gymnastics coach not working for free. Jay Johnson not working for free. I don't need to hear anything about tough times and tough and money problems in college sports.
Yeah, I mean, it is. They certainly have the money down there. It's almost like what the Dodgers are doing with their roster. But the Dodgers, we know, they're just
Dodgers and LSU.
They're just signing everybody and going to pay them, 10 years down the road. I don't think that's what LSU is doing with all of these contracts.
Southern Cal and Southern Louisiana.
Right. Yes. It's very, very strange, but a lot of really interesting news down at LSU to kind of lining themselves up to go get Will Wade.
So much for those stories of Will Wade. Was never going to forget how he got treated on the way out. It was shabby and mishandled. No. Money talks, and he knows a good opportunity. He knows you can win big there.
Oh yeah, and he was doing it before obviously getting busted and having to be
making
fired. And
large blank deals.
Exactly, and those deals they are now legal, and he knows that he already had something good going in LSU, and it sounds like from some of the reports out of NC State throughout the season that it just really wasn't maybe what was promised to him when he first got the job.
He walked in ready to find everything wrong with
definitely. Definitely. And so now the opportunity is there for him to go back to LSU, and it looks like he's going to take that. I know April 1st is when kind of his buyout drops. So it sounds like LSU might wait till then. They might not.
Who needs a haircut at LSU?
Well, I mean, with everything you just laid out, I would take all the haircuts I can take, and but we'll see. I'm sure we always kind of talk about those dates, and it never usually matters. But we'll see what happens there. But obviously, the big story with North Carolina officially making the move last night with Hubert Davis. They have fired him, and now they'll be looking for a new head coach, one of the biggest brands in college basketball, now looking for a new head coach.
If it's not the biggest, it's in the top 2 or 3 or 4 max, with Kentucky, Kansas, and Duke being the other ones in that very special league. They sure think they're tops. I don't blame them with what they've had and what they've won through the years, and it just wasn't enough. He wasn't winning enough for them, and they saw a digression each and every year. And this was a guy handpicked by Roy Williams and had turned over to him the book from Dean Smith and Roy Williams, and he couldn't get a lot done with it.
Yeah, and obviously had some success. You mentioned kind of starting his first year and getting to the national championship game, and then a really poor season after that, but then made it back to the Sweet 16. Even after that really poor year where they missed the NCAA tournament, there was even talk then of maybe they go ahead
preseason number 1 that year.
That's right.
Missed the tournament.
That's right. And there was talk after that offseason of maybe you pull the plug and make a pretty quick change, at least going into the next season, on on a red-hot hot seat. But then that next year he goes to the Sweet 16. It seems like all is good, and he's got them rolling. But these last 2 years, getting knocked out in the first round, that's just not going to cut it at North Carolina. A lot of places
Ole Miss
would.
and Virginia Common,
they just won't. And so a lot of places that would be that'd be okay, and you would get another year, but not at North Carolina. Obviously we just talked about being one of those, if not the biggest brands in college basketball. They expect more, and so after especially how it fell out in that game against VCU, and really having the game wrapped up and won, and then giving it away at the end, even though you were down your best player, a top 5 pick in this upcoming NBA draft, just wasn't enough for them. And those donors, those boosters, they said it's time to make a change, and a change is now made.
Money talks, and just not that shocking. It was shocking how they let him twist. Reportedly, he would not, that they offered him resignation, and that he wouldn't do it, and they said, okay, well, then you're fired.
Yeah, well, good for him, because I also would not take resignation. I mean, you're gonna fire me if you're gonna make that decision, because I do think this was one where it could have gone either way. I'm sure Hubert Davis was sitting there going, it has not been nearly as bad as you're making it out to be. But, it is North Carolina, and so they'll be swinging for the fences with this next hire. I did also see it was being reported, which is crazy now that we have to have this being reported, and actual journalists have to report this because of how ugly it's gotten, that they're going to honor his full buyout, because there are so many schools that now are trying to get out of these buyouts and trying to contest them, and
including LSU not wanting to pay Brian Kelly.
Yeah, and so
Arkansas didn't want to pay Brett Bielema, and a little bit at loggerheads already with Sam Pittman.
Yeah, and so it's just it's so funny that has to now be one of the first things reported.
It is. That's a good point.
They will pay him his buyout, and they'll be swinging for the fences.
Who's Mr. Wright? Bryant Dacus makes the hire at North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, you present the jersey to?
Very easy, Billy Donovan. That's the answer. I think that's who it's going to be. I would kind of be surprised at this point if it's not Billy Donovan.
It's a lot of momentum that way, isn't it?
It's a lot of momentum. I mean, the news coming out yesterday, I don't think it's a coincidence. News breaks that he most likely will not be back to Chicago next year, the same day that North Carolina decides to fire their head coach, and then just all of the steam that's been picking up since then. It feels like that's going to be the way. We talked yesterday, and we're going to talk with Kevin Sweeney later this afternoon, and we'll certainly discuss this, but he had a tweet yesterday talking about Billy Donovan, and if he did return to college basketball, that it would have to be set up for him very similar to how an NBA team is operated, that he doesn't want to do the day in, day out kind of recruiting how it is today. Very few schools around the country would be able to put that in place and kind of have that sort of setup. But North Carolina is one of those schools that would be able to do that. So I expect them to do that and set it up really nicely for him. And, I don't know what it will look like. Obviously, Billy Donovan's got to coach the rest of the season unless, he talks with the Bulls and they make some sort of move before the end of the season. But, he's got to finish things out in Chicago. So I don't know if he is the guy, what it will look like over the next couple of weeks, next month before that season is over for the Bulls. But, if you're asking me to go out and make a hire and I can hire anybody, I think out of all the names I've heard, Billy Donovan is the only answer.
I'm with you, and he steps back into sport. I know a lot of changes, but two-time national champion. He steps back into the sport ahead of everybody except for who in college basketball? He's a better coach than John Calipari. He's a better coach than Tom Izzo.
I was about to say I don't think there's anybody that's in front of him. I think he's
Hurley.
I would put him in front of Hurley. I think
I would too.
Steps in and is
he's better than the coach at the old job at Florida.
Yeah, no, I mean I think he's better.
And
than
if you think Kentucky fans, you think it drives them crazy having to look up and see John Calipari on their TV doing well at Arkansas, Billy Donovan forever was going to be the guy someday at some point back at Kentucky where he was an assistant on the Rick Pitino staff, and now that's not ever going to happen.
No, it definitely is not. And so this is going to be a really interesting job. Obviously, there's all the big names have been thrown around for it, and a lot's going to have to play out. And so I'll be curious how it plays out. Obviously, if it's Billy Donovan, it will probably look a little different than if it's one of these current college head coaches, but I think he is number one. Obviously, Brad Stevens already this morning put out that he's not interested in the job and isn't even gonna think about it. So I think he was option A, and they scratched his name
They
out
just won't learn,
very
will they?
quickly. No, they will not.
We learned. I learned. I had to learn fast, didn't I?
That's all right, but it's still something that everybody hasn't learned. And so now it looks like Billy Donovan next man up, and we'll see who's after that. If it's not Billy Donovan, we'll see where they go from there with one of these probably current big time college head coaches.
Legitimate places. If he had wanted to leave the Celtics, Brad Stevens leave the Celtics and take a college job, don't you think UCLA would have hired him? If he had wanted when they hired Mick Cronin, he could have done it, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Kentucky when they hired Pope, right?
Yep.
Indiana last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
North Carolina this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess the only things left is Kansas.
Yeah, I mean he's had great options. I mean pretty much any opportunity
I don't think
he
it was ever even an ounce of traction at Duke.
No. But I mean, if it's been very clear that if he wanted to get back into college coaching, he could get back into it and be in a very nice place where he has one of the best programs in the country, and he's
passed on everything.
He has. I mean, and we talk about it with Keith Smith all the time, that he is very happy with what he's doing. He really enjoys what he's got going on, and
does it well.
He does it extremely well, and so no college job seems to be good enough for him to leave the Boston Celtics and take something else.
In front of my broadcast position right now, I have brackets, I have predictions, I have lists.
All right.
I've got I don't feel great about my American League picks that we're going to get to about 3:45. I don't feel anything as confident about them as I do for tomorrow when we do National League. I would bet every house in our listening area on my National League picks that I will unveil tomorrow.
All right. Okay. So get the bank accounts ready to go and put bets down on
every bank
your
downtown, out east, and all points in between. All the money in them. I would put them on my National League picks tomorrow.
All right. I love it. I'm glad you're
American League I don't feel so good about.
Okay, well that's all right. It's you have to be
just
feel
a
better
friendly
about one
Coca-Cola
side.
in the break room
Right.
on my American League picks.
That's exactly right. It's good to be able to feel more confident about one than the other. If you can put all of your energy and all of your good energy on one, then I think that's all that matters.
All right, Bryant, we're sitting here tonight. Regular season starts in baseball. A lot of people get going tomorrow, and then everybody Friday and into the weekend. We're assured from everyone about the TV that you're going to get it. But every time on DirecTV that I go to 672, where they tell me I'm going to have the Cardinals, it says channel not available. When does it fire up? Pregame tomorrow, first inning, first pitch?
It'll be pregame tomorrow. When it should fire up at least.
Hour out, 10 minutes out.
No, I think it'll probably because as far as I know, or what I understand about it is the channel's only going to be showing Cardinal games, so I believe it will quite literally just kind of fire up when pregame starts, is what I'm assuming, at least. But
is that right?
I mean, that's what I'm assuming.
That's like somebody's out there turning the antenna.
Honestly,
it's back to the 70s for us.
It really is, and I know that's been a
little to the left.
Yes, but that's been an issue today. A lot of Cardinal fans frustrated because today I think they started announcing some of the channels that it will be on, and then some other are still waiting. I forgot which ones announced and which ones haven't, but people still don't know a day before kind of where they're going to be able to find the Cardinals.
And a lot of people want to know before they leave for work tomorrow or to the game. This was a general theme on a thread I found today. They want to record everything and watch it when they get home tomorrow night or whatever, and they don't trust the veracity of it's going to be there.
Yeah, well, I don't either, and I saw one of the, and I don't remember exactly who it was, but one of the Cardinal reporters was asked about it in his comments of a tweet he had, and was kind of like, well, we're still waiting. We haven't heard anything. They haven't announced anything. We're assuming, and that was the word that kind of joked, we're assuming that it will be on tomorrow, but, until they actually
50-50?
announce, I have no idea, but I do
92-8?
think, I really, and I think the Cardinals, I think they did officially announce for a couple of a lot of Comcast. They did for Comcast, and they said additional cable and satellite channels will be announced soon. More information online.
Soon?
They said, but in that's the tweet. In the post
soon,
it says
we're going to have the Clydesdales.
Right. I don't know why they worded that in the tweet. In the actual picture, it says additional cable and satellite channels will be provided by Thursday morning. So later tonight.
Dangest time in TV ever.
It really is. And I mean, even from I don't have cable or anything like that, but I mean, for me, I was kind of wondering, how am I going to get it? Where do I need to go to subscribe to be able to get it? And I finally figured it out, but then I read something that was like, you don't need to have that, you need to have this. And so it's been very confusing on kind of how you're going to be able to find these games. And I guess I'll find out tomorrow and, into the weekend. I don't think I'll be able to watch any Braves or Guardians game. No, any Braves or Reds games this year. Okay. So I won't be able,
I think my fallback insurance plan is the MLB extra inning ticket on DirecTV.
Maybe blackouts and stuff like that. I don't know how that's going to be. Maybe that's going to be affected because that's the thing. I have the
$28 on my bill. Maybe.
I mean, but that's going to. So the thing is, at least for me in the past, because I have the online subscription for Major League Baseball to watch all the games, I can get every team. I can watch their games on there except for Cardinals, Braves, and Reds because I'm in market. Those three, it's got to be the local broadcast that I get, and so. I don't know if you'll be able to. I'm assuming you will because you have cable and you get all those games through, you have gotten those. So it will be on a channel somewhere, but I don't think I'll be able to get them. So I hope
it's not just on the little bitty multi-box.
Yeah. I think you'll be, I think because you're in the market for all three of those teams, since you've gotten those previously on FanDuel, Sports Network or whatever, I think you'll still be able to get them. I just don't know what channel you'll have to find those on. It's going to be weird. We're all going to be learning.
And real quick, while we're talking about baseball, congratulations to the Memphis Tigers on a great win last night. Biggest crowd of the year, upset Ole Miss. Yeah. What was the money line on that?
I couldn't find anywhere to bet on it. That was, for whatever reason, Tiger games were available early, and now they're not. I don't, obviously with college baseball, you can't bet every single game around the country. They kind of pick and choose what games they like to put on. Obviously the SEC, all the SEC games are usually on there, but that wasn't one that I found available, at least here, to bet on last night. But yeah, good win for the Tigers.
Great win. 6-2, solid win.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. And a team that's been struggling this year to go out there and get a nice midweek win over Ole Miss, a ranked Ole Miss team that should certainly give them some confidence going into the weekend. Well, we've got a busy show, so let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Vince Ferrara from WNML in Knoxville. He'll join us. He's in Chicago with the Volunteers as they're dancing to the Sweet 16. We'll get his thoughts on the first two games from Tennessee and what he expects in this Sweet 16 matchup. So plenty to discuss with Vince. We'll do that in our next segment at 3:30. 3:45, we'll start making some baseball picks. We'll go around, start picking the American League. We'll get to our standings. We'll also pick some awards as well. Should be a lot of fun at the end of this hour. 4 o'clock, Blake Lovell from the Southeastern 16. He'll join us. We'll talk a lot of hoops with Blake. We'll talk about the remaining SEC teams and their matchups in the Sweet 16. We'll also talk about those SEC teams that have been knocked out, what he made of those. We'll also get his thoughts on what's going on at LSU as it feels like they are setting up to make a run at Will Wade. 4:30, we will rank the Sweet 16 coaches. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but ranking 1 through 16, the remaining coaches in college basketball, and kind of the basis of everyone has the same team, the same amount of talent. You just drop them with the best team in the country, who does the best coaching job, ranked 1 through 16. So that should be fun at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get the big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Kevin Sweeney from Sports Illustrated. He'll join us, and a lot to get to with Kevin. We'll talk all about the tournament, all the action, the Sweet 16 coming up, his predictions with a lot of those games. We'll also get to what's going on at LSU, what's going on at North Carolina, some of the coaching hires that have been made over the last week, his thoughts on those fits. A ton to get to with Kevin Sweeney. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Moe's Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The Floor Model Spa Sale, it's going on right now at Family Leisure. It's time to make room. Deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, and cold plunges. Have you been dreaming about a new spa? Well, now is the time to buy. With spas as low as $99 a month and over $1,000 in free upgrades with every spa purchased. $8,000 spas only $159 a month with free LED lights and a waterfall available on most models. Head out there to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We're live and we're local until 6 o'clock, and we're Sports Time. We want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. Our producers, Landon Schmidt, he's Brian, I'm Brett, and join in the fun with us today. We'd love for you to do that, always from our Family Leisure Studios, and this hour always brought to you by the great people at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2026 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. You can call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, and that's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2026 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it was North Carolina's decision to get rid of Hubert Davis after a really weird coaching career at North Carolina. Obviously, he steps in his first year. They go all the way to the national championship game. They lose in that one. Next season, they bring back a lot of really, really impressive players, and they start the season number one. They end the season not even making the NCAA tournament. At that point,
turned down the NIT.
They sure did, and that kind of was the big start of teams turning down the NIT year after year. But after that, it was kind of the noise started about maybe it's time to start looking in a different direction of Hubert Davis. He entered that third season on a hot seat. What did he do with that? He went out there and made the Sweet 16, but the last 2 years, back-to-back years of being knocked out in the first round, that's just not going to cut it at North Carolina. Now, yeah, there were some things going on, especially this year. You missed your best player for a large portion of the second half of the season. He doesn't play in that NCAA tournament game, but the way that game played out, especially against VCU, where you had that game wrapped up, it was one. Fans were already thinking about that second round matchup, and then you just fumble it away and lose. I think that put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and it just got to the point where a change needed to be made. Now, we talk so much about how long it took, because I think it should have been very easy after the loss. Okay, maybe not the day after, but 2 days later, hey, we're going to make a change. We're firing Hubert Davis. But they waited and waited and waited. Then we got the news yesterday about Billy Donovan. I could be completely wrong. Billy Donovan might not be the head coach of North Carolina next season, but I think there were conversations being had behind the scenes of, can we fire Hubert Davis and go get a guy like Billy Donovan to come in and be the head coach of North Carolina? I think he is going to be the guy. He's certainly the number one option right now for the Tar Heels. We'll see how it plays out, because if he says no, we know Brad Stevens already said he's not interested in it. Where will they go from here? We talked about the odds yesterday of who that next coach could be. Keep an eye on Tommy Lloyd out at Arizona if the Billy Donovan thing doesn't play. Mark Byington could be option. I do not think it's going to be Nate Oates. I think I even saw some reporting done this afternoon that Nate Oates and Todd Golden aren't going to be towards the top of the list for North Carolina. I would be surprised if it's either of them. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out for North Carolina.
It will be, Brian. Well done, and same thing for me. That's the top story. North Carolina said we had enough. A popular former player, not the most popular, but a very popular player. Tar Heel through and through, handpicked Bo Roy to be his successor. And in his first year, up 15 at half in the national championship game, 40-25 over Kansas. That ended up being the high water mark.
Yeah.
From that point on, it was it was rough sailing from that point on. That was April 4th, 2022. 4 years, we know, is a lot in sports. And North Carolina could afford to pay him off with only a $5 million, reportedly a $5 million buyout, while inexplicably the Tigers have a $6 million buyout for Penny Hardaway. Not comparing the programs, but I'm comparing the buyouts, and they couldn't come up with money to pay him off.
Yeah.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story, it is baseball. I wanted to just make it one thing, but I couldn't because it's opening day tonight. But if you were feeling the baseball frenzy, you got it last night with Memphis and Ole Miss. A really nice win for the Tigers, 6-2 over the Rebels. It was fun how this game played out. They just kind of every couple innings, they sent a new pitcher out there for the Tigers, and they were able to put together a really nice showing. Only 4 hits for Ole Miss on the other side. They got some big-time home runs.
Ole Miss left
from the
their bats in Oxford, didn't they?
It seemed like it. It really seemed like it, but the Tigers didn't. 9 hits for them, a couple home runs to put together a really, really nice win. I think the biggest thing, because obviously midweek games can get weird. They can be different.
They count, though.
They do, but, a lot of teams, play younger guys. But for this Memphis team that has really struggled this season to really put things together, and, they've got talent, they've got nice players out there, but it's been a struggle to put together game over game. But I think getting a win like this at home can really give this team a lot of confidence. They go into the weekend ready to play Wichita State. That'll be another home series for them. I think they should be playing with a ton of confidence. Maybe we can see a more complete series from this Memphis team. So you go from last night, that win for the Tigers, now into opening day of Major League Baseball with only one game tonight. It'll be on Netflix, but it should be a fun one. The Yankees and the Giants, a really nice pitching matchup. Max Fried and Logan Webb should be a lot of fun later tonight out in San Francisco.
My not top story, to the shock of absolutely no one, the Grizzlies officially shut down Ja Morant for the year with a PR post on Twitter. His last game as a member of the Memphis Grizzlies will go down as Wednesday, January 21st, 2026 against Atlanta. I was there. He was great that night until late in the game. I didn't think much of it, but they didn't need much. They wanted anything above heat rash. They were going to shut him down for the year, and the elbow, the UCL, it was almost perfect. Because, look, I don't want to be too morbid, but if it's a leg protruding out of the skin, we know the leg's broken, and we know he's out for the year. But that was perfect for them. Put him up. They didn't want to play him in London, but the league forced them into doing it, and now it ends, and what a sorry ending for the greatest player in Grizzlies history, Ja Morant, for it to end like this at 26 years old. It's ending like this with Memphis and Ja.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard to watch, and obviously we'll see some sort of deal in the offseason. I don't know what that deal will look like, but we will talk more about that news. Also, updates on a couple other players were put out last night, but the big one being Ja Morant. We'll talk more about that probably about 5:30 during What's Trending. But right now we need to get to a break. When we return, we're going to talk some Sweet 16 action. The Volunteers, they're still dancing. We'll talk with Vince Ferrara from WNML in Knoxville. He joins us next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Ben Store Realtors, and I'm with Julia Mullamary, also with Mark's Ben Store Realtors. Julie, you've been in real estate almost your entire life, having started in South Florida in your family's firm. But more importantly, as the Florida's high school state champion in golf and playing for Florida Gulf Coast, I needed your opinion on my golf game.
Sheldon, you are a pro when it comes to selling real estate and representing buyers, but as far as your golf game, I've seen better swings on the playground.
Thanks a lot, Julie. We both know the score, though. Selling real estate requires a high degree of skill off the course, and both of us do have that. So if you're thinking of selling your home, remember, making real estate easy is Julie. Julie Mullimary, 305-0112.
And when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Memphis Public Golf has so much going on right now. Do you know that golf is up 11% at all the public golf courses? Do you know the driving range at Audubon is so popular they do about 100 driving range balls per day, 100 buckets? Wow. It's just happening. That's the way public golf is right now. There is going to be a new tournament April the 18th at Pine Hill, which is really different. 18 holes, but 3 different 6-hole formats. Scramble, alternate shot, and aggregate. That means both scores count. That's a brand new wrinkle. And if you just want to book a tee time, or if you want to find out more about all the great tournaments, because you know every course has a championship, there's the Memphis Public Links. All you got to do is go to memphispubliclinks.com. That's memphispubliclinks.com. They say better play every day on Memphis Public Links, and with the way they have improved the golf courses, that is absolutely on the money.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. T-Dot's trying to untangle a couple of accidents out here. It's building pretty good already over here with a little bit of volume. I-40 especially going eastbound here at Warford, Hollywood, headed past Cummington Pike as traffic gets busy to the south of Memphis. Radar down through there earlier in parts of DeSoto County on 55. Again, just be careful trying to get south of Memphis this afternoon. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is leading the way the world understands, treats, and helps defeat childhood cancer. If you can help these kids with cancer, please log on to stjude.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We're working to get a hold of Vince Ferrara, talk some volunteers as they're getting ready for the Sweet 16 as that gets back rolling tomorrow night with a handful of games. Really excited about some of these matchups we will see starting tomorrow. Tennessee, they don't play until late night Friday night as they'll play Iowa State 9-10 on TBS. But tomorrow we get it started at 6:10. Another SEC team, Texas against Purdue. That's 6:10 on CBS. Iowa, Nebraska, Arkansas, Arizona, and Illinois, Houston. Those are the games tomorrow night. Should be a lot of fun. And obviously we'll talk this Tennessee matchup a lot with Vince. But against Iowa State, this Iowa State team has looked really, really solid pretty much every step along the way, most of the season, but certainly in the conference tournament and now in the NCAA tournament. You get past that first 7 or 8 minutes in the first half against Kentucky, they've been rolling in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it was 20-9 Kentucky in that game, and you knew it wasn't going to last.
No,
it wasn't going to last, and it didn't last, and it bottomed out badly for Kentucky, almost as bad as my voice.
Well, no, it was a good analogy because it was bad. And I mean, you talk about bad. Iowa State couldn't have played worse in that first.
He's okay.
10. I mean, yes, okay, back. We're good. He's not He's not choking on anything. But no, I mean, it was bad basketball by Iowa State to start the game. They couldn't make shots in this Iowa State team. Yeah, when you're missing a big guy like that and you're not making shots, it's going to be really hard to compete, especially against a team like Kentucky that can find a lot of success shooting the ball. And they got that early, and Iowa State didn't. But then once Iowa State, they hit a couple shots in a row, started feeling it, then they really started rolling and ran away with that game at the end. So this is going to be tough, but we know Tennessee and Rick Barnes, they can play some physical games. I think, Nate Ament, this is going to be a really important game for him, I think, to, be physical down low and try to come up big against this Iowa State team. Right now, Iowa State a 4.5-point favorite, and as you can imagine, with these two type of teams, the total at 138.5, so a pretty low total for that matchup.
Yeah, it is, and that as you said, that's the last game on Friday. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow's games, the Thursday games, begin with Purdue is a heavy favorite, 7.5 over Texas. Nebraska only 1.5 over Iowa. That feels very coin toss, doesn't it? We've been 1.5 practically is pick 'em. 7.5 again, that number for Arizona over Arkansas, and 3.5 for Houston over Illinois. A lot of times in these games, it settles into the favorites.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you're starting to see those top teams really kind of flex their muscles, and they know what's on the line, and they usually play extremely well. I'll be curious about this Texas team after back-to-back duds, if we're being honest. In the conference tournament that resulted in a loss, but pretty much a dud in that Dayton game. I mean, they did not play well at all. It was just both teams looked terrible against NC State, and they were able to get the win. But since then, they have looked like one of the best teams in the country. 3 straight games, including that game in Dayton, but back-to-back wins in the first and second round, and now going up against a really nice team in Purdue. But we've seen this Purdue team struggle and have some really questionable performances. If they have that questionable performance tomorrow, maybe you could see Texas not only cover the spread, but maybe even run away with a win.
Who would be somebody in the SEC you would compare to Iowa State that Tennessee has played?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question.
Florida.
I guess Florida would be the closest. I don't love it, but I guess if I'm trying to compare them to one, I think I would say
Iowa
Florida.
State probably better. Would you say Iowa State would have won the SEC this year?
They'd probably be in the championship game.
Right
I'd
there,
say they would be right there, competing for it. But it's
and I think that's a couple of these games for SEC matchups. I don't know that Arkansas has seen a team in SEC play like Arizona. Texas playing a different style team in Purdue, big and pretty quick with the good point guard, and Alabama against Michigan. Michigan would be certainly at or near the top of the SEC.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's showing you how strong these teams are around the country, and it's going to be a tough test. I mean, you just read out those lines on a lot of these games. We were talking about it. I guess it was Monday. We were talking about some of these early lines, and at the time, Michigan was a 10.5-point favorite against Alabama. Now it's dropped back down to single digits, but you look at a lot of these kind of in that range of from about 3.5 to 6 or 7.5. To see one out there at 9.5 was pretty shocking. But that's just how good Michigan has been pretty much all season.
For and it's a few, and I think most of it is rivalry inspired, and we know with rivalry inspired things sometimes we all lose our minds and our clear way of thinking. But if Rick Barnes were to win this game late Friday night, doesn't that really it wouldn't be anywhere else to go for his critics, would it be?
I don't think so. I mean, I've said it. I kind of get surprised some of the texts I get from a couple buddies I have that are Tennessee fans that are just feels like are never happy with Rick Barnes. But I mean, he is an incredible coach, and I think if you can get past a team like Iowa State, make it to another
What's the shelf life of going 0-1 in the NCAA tournament with Kevin Durant? Doesn't that have to play out at some point?
At some point, that's got to have an expiration date. And I think over these last couple of years, especially, I think he has done more than enough to to get away from that. And we talked earlier about that second round Rick moniker that has always floated around. I think he has certainly done enough to get away from that. And now you're looking at an opportunity to go to another Elite Eight. We talked yesterday about the chance. Now, very tough, obviously both underdogs, and one a significant underdog, but chance of seeing Tennessee and Alabama in an Elite Eight game would be really something fun and would have a lot of storylines around it.
Now, the comparison I'm going to give, they went on and won it twice, played for it a couple other times. Remember Clemsoning?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
For Dabo Swinney and the Clemson football program? Rick Barnes wins Friday night. I don't know if it's buried as deep at sea as Clemsoning, but it's close.
Yeah, no, I definitely think you're right about that. But I think there's going to be some really fun games, and we'll be really curious about how these SEC teams fare. With 4 remaining, 2 on each day. So it will be, if you're an SEC fan, you'll have plenty to watch, but none of them favored, which is definitely interesting.
None favored. We'll talk with Blake Lovell about it. I'm very sorry to our audience that we weren't able to catch up with Vince. He's in Chicago and it was all set to go. We texted earlier in the day. I'm very sorry about it. But we still have alive the chance, the Tennessee-Alabama game. And Arkansas, they got a chance against Arizona with that kind of guard and that kind of team and those kind of players. I don't give much of a chance to Texas, but I don't feel real good. I wouldn't book Indianapolis plans in the Final Four for the SEC, and I don't think I would even book Elite Eight.
Yeah,
for any of them.
Yeah, like we said, all of them are underdogs. So maybe we see a couple of upsets here, but I expect good games. I really like these matchups, especially with the SEC teams. You go outside of that, I think really, really fun matchups up and down on both Thursday and Friday. And like we said, it'll get started tomorrow night, 6 o'clock with Texas and Purdue, that game on CBS.
Look, we're going to have a lot of fun watching the games Thursday and Friday night. First game start around 6 from real late games. A lot of people complaining. Where have they been in the last few years? We've been doing this on the Thursday and Friday of the Sweet 16 for a long time now. It doesn't start really that second game is not going to start before about 8:30. We're going to eat a lot of food and a lot of fun. And we're going to have that. And for coming up for Easter weekend next weekend, you want the strawberry shortcake from any of these Jason Deli locations at Ridgeway Road, across from MUS in Park Place, by the University of Memphis at Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Get the big bulk size of strawberry shortcake for everybody at your Easter weekend food plans, and you may want something special for a side. Maybe one of the salads, maybe the grand potato bar, something like that from Jason's Deli to go with the Easter plans. Whether you're dining in, getting it to go, or having it delivered, Jason's Deli, it's wholesome food forever. It's a family thing, and Easter really is a family weekend. Anything off the menu you can get at all these locations, like the Mesa chicken salad, the chicken Caesar salad, my favorite, the taco salad, and then that in every location, that great salad bar with over 30 items for you to prepare it however you'd like. Catering anytime, anywhere. Plenty of organic food to choose from, very healthy, trans fat-free food, all about choice. Whether you seek gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, you will be delighted at all these locations. There's one, I promise you, near you, and complimentary free ice cream at every location at Ridgeway Road, across from MUS, by the U of M, at Poplar and Highland, out in Cordova, down in Olive Branch, and you can check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Well, let's get to another break. When we return, we're going to start making some baseball picks. We'll take a look at the AL today. We'll get to the NL tomorrow, but when we return, we're making our AL picks. That's next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening is coming to the Graceland Soundstage. Saturday, May 9th at 8 p.m. Jason's The thunderous drumming recalls one of the greatest to ever sit behind the skins, his late father, John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. This is as close as you will ever get to letting the lead out live. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Get your tickets today at GracelandLive.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Do you know what Penny Hardaway and I have in common? We should both be in that building celebrating the best basketball players of all time. Of course, I'll have to buy a ticket to get in, but he should already be there. But seriously, we both surround ourselves with the best people we can find. We work hard to achieve our goals, and we are both among the best in our respective fields. At Fiveash, we can't win titles or get national awards, but what we can and do strive to do is give 100% of ourselves to give you the best product possible and one you can be proud of. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call at 901-367-0050, and we will do everything we can to provide you the best of everything. Fiveash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Your home is your best investment, so why not make it the best it can be with help from Gates Lumber? Start with your front door, serving two purposes, curb appeal and security. Gates has solid construction doors built for security, durability, and beauty. See and compare wood, steel, and fiberglass options side by side at Gates Showroom. It's easier to choose when you can see and touch real doors with real assistance from knowledgeable staff helping you choose the right door for your home and budget. So don't just replace your door, upgrade your protection, and Gates Lumber is the right choice. Family owned and operated, serving you for over 100 years with free estimates, free delivery, competitive prices, and quality products. Call 901-942-3201, go to gateslumber.com, or come by their showroom, 1253 South Bellevue Boulevard. Gates Lumber, celebrating over 100 years with a passion for craftsmanship since 1920.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we got to talk some Major League Baseball. As the season gets started later tonight on Netflix. It's time to make
or the junior circuit.
That's right. We will we'll start with the AL. We'll get to the NL tomorrow afternoon. At that point, we've got a bunch of afternoon games. We'll have games galore when we're making picks for the NL. So don't let it impact. It's only day one. Don't let anything you see tomorrow afternoon impact your picks for tomorrow around the NL. But
Bryant, the great Jack Eaton at Action News 5 would always go to the scores. Tonight in the junior circuit, rattle through it, and then we get to the National League in the senior circuit. And why is he calling it that? What's he? Why is he? I was about 9, and then I figured it out and learned. But so we will go with the junior circuit, and buyer beware. This has a warning label on it from me. These are not anything to go out and put anything on for me. That's for tomorrow at 3:45 with my National League picks. You can bet on those tomorrow. If I've ever had a 10,000 star lock, my National League picks tomorrow at 3:45 will suffice. I'll start in American League East. Yankees win the division. Toronto second, but they get a wild card. Boston third. They get one of the 3 AL wild cards. Baltimore and Tampa Bay for years. They were able to do it kind of with magic, no longer. AL Central, I never, ever, ever get this division right. Usually you could turn it upside down from my picks, and that's how it ends. Might be this year. Detroit wins it. Cleveland second, Minnesota third, Kansas City fourth, the White Sox, the Southsiders fifth. In the West, Seattle wins it, second place in the third and final wild card, the homeless A's playing. Aren't they in Sacramento? Haven't they floated through there?
Yep.
Anaheim third, Houston fourth, Texas fifth. So the wild cards will be 6 seed A's losing to the 3 Detroit, 5 seed Boston. They lose at 4 Toronto. ALDS, Yankees over the 4 Toronto. Seattle, the 2 over the 3 Detroit. AL Championship Series, Yankees over Seattle. But Seattle, they have my AL MVP in Julio Rodriguez. And they have the A's, the homeless A's, have my manager of the year in Mark Kotsay. Rookie of the year, and he's not even going to start the season on the 40-man. It's a money deal. They'll bring him in as the year goes along. I'm going to pick with the A's, the young shortstop, Leo DeVries, and ALSI can't be anybody but Scooball.
I like that. I like that a lot. Landon, you want to go next?
Sure, I can go next. I'll go ahead and say that my AL Central is the exact same as Brett's here. Went Detroit, Cleveland, Minnesota, Kansas City, and Chicago. So have a lot of similarities there. In my East, I have the Toronto Blue Jays winning. Then I have the Yankees, Red Sox, Orioles, and the Rays coming in at 5th. And then in the West, I have the Mariners winning that, Houston Astros, the Rangers, the Angels, and then in last, the Athletics. So that makes my postseason looking at 6 versus 3 Astros versus Tigers. I have Tigers winning that. I have Yankees and Red Sox rematch from last year. I have the Red Sox advancing there. Tigers and Mariners. I have the Mariners advancing. Red Sox versus Blue Jays. I'll have the Blue Jays moving on, which makes the championship series be the Blue Jays versus the Mariners. And I have the Mariners making it to the World Series this year. My AL MVP, I'm going with Bobby Witt Jr. I think he performed really well in the World Baseball Classic, so I think he's going to keep on doing his thing. Cy Young, I'm right there with you, Brett. A three-peat for Tarek Skubal. I think he's just too good to not make it there once again. My Rookie of the Year, I'm going with the Tigers, Kevin McGonigal. I think
that's popular out there.
It is a very popular take there, so I'm going to roll with him. And then my Manager of the Year, I mean, if they make it to the World Series, I feel like he's got to have some kind of recognition for a great regular season as well. I'm going to go with Dan Wilson with the Mariners.
Right.
We like the Mariners so far, and we know a Mariner fan. You're American League team.
That's right. They are my American League team, except I don't love your MVP pick, Brett. I think that might be bad juju for my guy, J-Rod.
Landon, do you have an American League team? Anybody you favorite over others? I know the Mets in the National League.
No, not really.
Orioles are mine.
The Orioles stole my beloved first baseman, so not very happy with them.
There you go.
There are a couple. There's not anybody that I have contempt for in the American League. I kind of like the idea of
the Astros.
I like the Astros.
Yeah, I don't mind the Astros.
I hate them. Can't stand them. I mean,
I couldn't stand them when they were in the National League Central, but I kind of like them now. Dusty Baker made me warm up to the Astros.
Nothing to like about the Astros. I mean, honestly, really, the entire city of Houston, there's not much to like about there. Except
I guess
for
Kansas City.
I
guess Kansas City
and Kevin Durant
over Don Dinkinger now.
But
41 years ago.
Yeah, no, I don't like the Astros at all. I really can't stand them, if I'm being honest. But for my picks in the AL East, I'm going to go with the Orioles coming out of the AL East, then the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, and then the Tampa Bay Rays. In the AL Central, Tigers, Royals, Twins, Guardians, and White Sox. And in the AL West, the Mariners, Astros, Rangers, Athletics, and the Angels. So that sets
I'm out there on the A's by myself.
You are
with
out
the homeless
there on
ones.
The homeless A's. I'll watch a lot of them. Good luck to them, but I don't pick them very high here. For my playoffs, I have Mariners, Orioles, Tigers, and then my wild card, Yankees, Red Sox, and the Royals. And then I'll be completely honest, I forgot to write out how it all falls out, but basically the Mariners defeat the Tigers to win the AL. However that falls into place, the Mariners will go to the World Series.
We all have them in the ALCS.
How about that? Yeah,
I have the Yankees winning. Y'all both have the Mariners winning. Right. First AL manager in trouble.
Aaron Boone.
Aaron Boone is correct, and I have them winning in the American League.
Wow, yeah. Well, I mean, he better do some winning because I think anything else, he will be in real trouble. But he's had a lot of success, and people still want him fired for probably good reasons. So,
what you think of Leo DeVries as AL Rookie of the Year?
I like that a lot.
Not even starting the year on it's a money deal.
Sure, but hopefully we see him up there, and I like him a lot. Let me get to my awards because I like my Rookie of the Year. And hopefully, now it's pitcher, which is always could be trouble. My MVP, look, Brett, if nobody other than Aaron Judge was going to win it last year, I'm not going to point fingers at who should have won it last year, but I think there was a very obvious person. Thank you, Brett. I didn't want to be the person that said it. I'll let somebody else say it. So since Cal Raleigh having a historic season as a catcher couldn't win MVP, I don't think anybody else can win the AL MVP. I think the MVP just automatically has Aaron Judge's name written into it. So I guess I'll go Aaron Judge.
Mr. August.
I mean, that's right. I'll go with Aaron Judge to win MVP. Cy Young, I'm going to go with Skubal. Manager of the Year, I'll go with Dan Wilson. And in my Rookie of the Year, we saw him at the end of the season this year, and he was fantastic. Trey Savage, the pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. He'll be forefront of that rotation this year. If he puts together a full season like he did in his last couple of starts at the major league level last year, I think he could be in real contention for Rookie of the Year.
What was the hardest division for both of y'all to pick? I always say the AL Central kind of always gets me. It's the AFC and NFC South of football to me.
Yeah, I would say the AL Central was pretty tough. AL East was a little difficult.
I was gonna say the East.
Yeah, I mean there's some really solid teams.
East has got a lot of power in it.
Yeah, they really do.
Imagine being Tampa Bay and Baltimore fighting that money in Boston and New York, and Toronto spending.
Yes, I mean it's tough, and I think both have done some nice things, and obviously you've got to do it from the ground up with your minor league system and bring in some really nice talent. I think both have done that. The Rays have not been able to keep at least one of their very talented young players, but the Orioles have put together a nice young core. Maybe it comes together for them this year.
What did y'all feel better about, your AL picks or tomorrow at 3:45 when we do NL?
I'm going NL.
Brett, you'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
I mean, you'll have to wait and see.
Mine are so good that you can just absolutely bank on it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I'm excited for tomorrow to hear your picks.
A lot of hype.
Literally tomorrow, just fast forward to October 1, and look, Brett got all the East right, all the Central right, all the West, all the playoff rounds, wild card, division.
I mean, Brett, if you're telling me I need to take out a loan and just put all of my loan money on those picks, then I might have to look into that after we're done with the show today. But no, it'll be fun tomorrow.
With the proviso, with the fast talking, this is for News Manor only.
That's right. Yes. It's entertainment only. We're not liable for anything. No, but we'll have fun tomorrow. We'll make our NL picks, and at that point, we will have a lot of action, like I mentioned, going on with some afternoon baseball, including NBC games tomorrow afternoon.
Channel 5 in the afternoon.
Lot of fun. Yeah, that will be a blast to watch tomorrow. Should be fun tonight with the lone game.
I feel sorry for the switchboard operator, Channel 5.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be
Channel 5 have soap operas anymore? I don't even know.
I don't know what goes on Channel 5 most of the day. But we need to get to another break, wrap up this hour, and when we return, we're talking some SEC hoops. Blake Lovell from the Southeastern 16. He joins us next.
Come on and let the good times roll, y'all. Or as we say in Louisiana, laissez le bon temps rouler. The Orleans in the Ville with our made-from-scratch red beans, jambalaya, gumbo, po' boys, and made-fresh daily muffaladas, right here in Collierville. Eat, drink, and stay for dessert like our homemade bread pudding with warm bourbon sauce. Monday through Friday, meat and two with homemade veggies, so good you bring your mom and them. Brunch every Saturday and Sunday. Right here, the Orleans in the Ville, 336 New Byhalia Road. Where great food, live music, and endless fun meet.
Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis has serious vans for serious work. At 4430 American Way, they are the Mid-South source for cargo, passenger, crew vans, and custom chassis. Need one or a full fleet? New or used, they've got it. With fleet solutions and custom upfits. Certified techs keep you moving with fast maintenance, repairs, and a large parts inventory. Mercedes-Benz Van Center is your Sprinter Van headquarters. 901-237-9302 or sprintervans.com. Mercedes-Benz Van Center Memphis, part of the Tag Truck Center family. Driven to keep you on the road.
A long life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do. And look, new friends.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of EMS calls in the last few minutes. Trying its best to get a little bit busy, trying to get through certain sections of Midtown on 240 South at South Parkway. Moving at the moment on the I-40 bridge as you head over into Crittenden County, West Memphis. Now, no shortage of radar over in parts of Arkansas this afternoon down I-40 towards the Forest City area. Hey, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is leading the way the world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer. Help these kids out by logging on to stjude.org. I'm Commander Chuck on your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with John Harden. Weekdays from 11 to 1. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our second hour on this Wednesday afternoon. We got to talk some SEC hoops, and we do it throughout the season on Wednesdays with Blake Lovell from the Southeastern 16. Blake, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to discuss, but going into the Sweet 16, 4 SEC teams remaining. Alabama, Tennessee, they'll both go on the second day on Friday. But then tomorrow, Texas and Arkansas both in action. Out of those 4 teams, who have you been most impressed by?
Yeah, I mean, it's, Arkansas is probably, I think, the most impressive team overall, over the past little bit. I mean, it's hard not to be impressed by Alabama, and what they did to Texas Tech. I mean, there's plenty of reasons to kind of have the same feeling for Tennessee and Texas, but, I think, just the upside, I think, with Arkansas and Alabama is hard to sort of ignore just with what they can do offensively, and I think they're going to have to score a lot of points to win these two games that they're in. So it's probably, a pretty close race between those two right now, and again, I think they've got very sort of similar challenges with these matchups they're going to have against Arizona and Michigan.
Yeah, if Arkansas can beat Arizona, and it probably will be a high-scoring game because Arkansas is kind of deficient on defense, but they're very proficient on offense. If they upset Arizona, I think they're drooling to get the Purdue-Texas winner. I think that Arkansas fans can start making Indianapolis plans.
Yeah, it would set up pretty well, you would think, just based on kind of the matchups. And that's what we always say, said it for years. It's the basketball matchup aspect of this is where, you do have to try to figure out a way to take a step back and be like, all right, this is a good matchup or bad matchup. And I think when you look at, even Texas and Purdue, it feels like a bad matchup on paper for Texas just because of how well that Purdue shoots the three, and Texas, against the best teams they played this year, their opponents have shot, I think, 39% or around 39% from three, which is just not great against Purdue, who can shoot it so well. But I think if you look at it again with Arkansas, I mean, this is going to be a big challenge, and I think it's just really looking at the defense. And we've heard, we made our preview yesterday, we've heard from hundreds of Arkansas fans who sort of, disagree with the idea that they could lose this game. And the fact is they're a, 7.5, 8.5 point underdog. And the reason why is because their defensive performances have left a bit to be desired here. And I know that, you can certainly count on, hey, we haven't been completely healthy. You've been missing a guy here or there, and that's kind of factored into it. But at the same time, this is a team that hasn't had to be great defensively this year. They've just been so good offensively it hasn't mattered. And the problem I think you have here is that you're going to run into a team that, while they don't shoot the three a lot in Arizona, they are going to be so physical and I think so aggressive inside the arc. And my biggest fear here, guys, for Arkansas is what happens when one of those three front court players gets in foul trouble, 5, 7, 8 minutes into the game. It completely changes, I think, the way you can play. And in a battle like this, I think that could be pretty significant.
And this is not a shot at John Calipari. I do enough of that. This is not one. But I don't think he would ever admit it, and I don't blame him. I probably wouldn't either, and most coaches aren't much on mea culpa. But I think he's mishandled this limited these limited roles. He needs another warm body. Now, come back to that. If Carter Knox were healthy, I think he would have it. But you say foul trouble. What if it's the twisted ankle? What if it's the the sprained wrist during the game by someone? I think all four of these matchups are horrible for the SEC, Blake.
Yeah, I don't like them either, and I think that, again, even in that game, Arizona gets the free throw line a lot, and I think that's where, you find little things like that in these sort of matchups, and you're just thinking, okay, there's a reason why the SEC is the underdog here, and why the SEC could be over, in the Elite Eight this year. It's just because of how good these teams at the top have been, and, if you go down to the bottom part of the bracket, I mean, sure, I could say 100 times that Alabama could make 19 threes again and beat Michigan. Of course they could, because it's Alabama, and the style they play is very, at times, erratic against these kind of opponents. It's not erratic against, teams that you feel like they should beat, but against these kind of opponents in Michigan, you never know. I mean, they're going to have to probably shoot 43s, I think, to be able to have a chance to win this game.
What if they only make 4 threes, though? They get their doors blown off.
See, and that's the thing, is that you're banking on something like that happening with a team that just has not been like that all year. I mean, Michigan has been a team that's been able to kind of control the game the way they want to play, and even in a couple of the games they lost, and I've said this with this matchup. Look at teams like Wisconsin and Nebraska when it comes to, these are teams that have given Michigan a little bit of a problem this year. And what do those two teams do well? Well, they shoot the three well. Of course they do. But those teams also play differently than Alabama does. There's only one Alabama, and they don't play the walk-it-up type style we're used to with Wisconsin the way it used to be or anything like that. But, I do think we're kind of looking at a scenario here where you've kind of got a situation where I think that Alabama's going to have to win via making a lot of threes, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to do that from that standpoint against a team like Michigan and how they guard. And then, of course, guys like Tennessee, Iowa State, right? Look at a scenario where, I don't know how Tennessee's going to take care of the ball against Iowa State. They just forced so many turnovers. And it's just that there's bad matchups across the board, it seems.
It really is. And I talked about Texas. I mean, the question, it feels like all season is which Texas is going to show up for this game. And it's been a really good Texas these last two games against BYU, Gonzaga. But then you remember, just the two games before that, the Ole Miss loss, the NC State game, which they won, but it was a really sloppy game. Against Purdue, what has to happen for the Longhorns to walk out of there with a win?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of going to be one where you're going to have to defend. And that's been the biggest thing, guys, is Texas has been able to defend this last little bit in that, you look at how they've played, and they've not given up a lot of points in these games against NC State, Gonzaga, BYU, all that. And I think it's kind of a scenario where that's really their path. And, in one-on-one type scenarios this year, Texas has been great in terms of scoring. And they may be able to use that to keep up, because I think, again, we've seen them kind of play with a bit of a different spark, and Purdue's going to force them to take jump shots, which Texas doesn't mind doing. But at the same time, you got to defend. And that's where, when you have this little bit of a break, too, sometimes that momentum can be broken a bit, right? And I think that's going to be a big story here is, do we get the same Texas team that just got hot last week, or do we get the Texas team that lost 5 of 6? That's the big question. And so I think, again, it's like you just keep looking at these matchups, and I'm trying to find an SEC team to pick somewhere, and it's just not easy to do. So,
no.
And Blake, for the league, everybody kind of had everything, the wagon hitched to the Florida success in just a blink of an eye. Just tragic ending for them. The coaching was questionable, the execution more so, in Florida in Tampa with all those fans, that cozy pod out first weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Florida, it's kind of just a scenario where, look, you were kind of flirting with it all year long with them, where you're wondering, okay, is it just going to be the guard play and how that plays out? And ultimately, like, what surprised me the most in that matchup was that the game started and it was really all about the front court, right? The front court simply did not play well enough to be able to get the win. And I think that's kind of what it came down to, was that they started poorly in the front court department, and you looked at kind of the rest of the way, and then it became about the guards. And, like, the possessions they had towards the end of the game, that was the biggest problem, and you just couldn't, you couldn't fix that. And so it was a tough matchup. McCollum's one of the best coaches in the country, and I think you look at it from that standpoint, and it's just a bit problematic there. So.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a little tricky.
I got to give my great co-host credit. Bryant was ahead of the curve on Byington and McCollum, way out there, ahead of everybody on their coaching prowess.
Thank you, Brett. I appreciate that.
Did Blake hang up on us for me giving you a compliment?
I mean, that
was enough.
Shame.
That's all Blake needed.
Honestly,
catch back up.
I don't blame him. I mean, that is any compliment from me kind of hurts other people's ears, I guess. But no, I hate that Blake can't really find an SEC game he likes here in these with these last four standing. I
mean. There's not one. Yeah. I think everybody knows it. Except for Arkansas, even if it's the upset, I guess if Tennessee and Bama both won, then one's going to the Final Four. But I don't think many people have that.
No, yeah, it looks like you're going to get probably at least to the Final Four. Maybe even there's a chance, and we talked about it earlier. With the Elite Eight of maybe without an SEC team. I think we got Blake back with us.
Blake, did the compliment of Bryant stun you? And that was enough.
Blake,
I was good. I heard too much about McCollum, and I said, I'm out of here. I got to
go. Look, Blake, you wouldn't be the first person that has heard a compliment about me and then ran. But looking, we've talked a lot about the teams that are still playing, but kind of the big story right now with a team that's not still playing is Kentucky, and that loss, and now what that means for Mark Pope moving forward into next season. What is it going to look like?
He saw his future today with Hubert Davis.
No, that you're right about that. What's it going to look like next year with a hot seat for Mark Pope?
Yeah, I mean you're kind of at a point where it's like, what do you do? What's the separator? And is it simply, do we spend more money because you've already spent an astronomical amount? What is the support going to be like from the people who are trying to help spend the money? And I think these are all questions. And I said it today, I used the phrase, like, I think it's going to be a pretty dramatic several months for Kentucky here this offseason, because there are going to be storylines aplenty. If they're not getting the guys that they feel like they need to get to be able to compete, they swung and missed on some guys in the portal last year. They took a risk on some guys like Quaintance, not knowing exactly what kind of player he was going to be afterwards. And so you've got all these sort of situations that could play out. But I think the biggest focus for Mark Pope has to be they have to get back stylistically to the things that they were doing well before. And I feel like that is the biggest key here, because, I said going into the season, this is just not a team that fits sort of the strengths that we had seen with him as a coach. They didn't have a lot of great three-point shooters. They didn't seem to just sort of have that kind of intangible that he used to have when it came to kind of building a roster. And sure, you have to admit, like, the injuries played a big impact. Kentucky fans may not want to admit that, but if you have your starting point guard and your starting center the entire year, things are probably a little bit different, right? Mm-hmm. But it wasn't, and they could only get so far at that point, and you spent a lot of money on these other guys, and it just didn't pan out in every scenario. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if he kind of regroups a little bit here, tries to focus more on, we got to have more shooting. I think we got to have more consistency and size at the rim, because those are the things I think that'll wind up being the separator in the SEC.
And Blake, we hear so much about donor fatigue, and it's not just about one sport; it's about all sports. And at the same time, that profile of that donor, that person that loves the school, they're also being asked, for maybe for a donation for a new building or something else on, heaven forbid, for academics on campus. The donor fatigue's real, and I think that as much as just watching the North Carolina collapse got Hubert Davis. Just know I'm not going to bankroll the NIL to go out and get next year's team with him in charge, and that's where Mark Pope that's where they all could get. I hear so many, and a lot of people I hear from, they hadn't won anything. They keep asking, how sustainable is it for Ole Miss football? And I say, as long as you win, you can pass the hat, and it will have plenty in it.
Yeah, and I mean, at a certain point, it's just like, when you're at a program like that, and that's why, you go back to the discussion whenever Pope got the job, it's like, look, one of the reasons he got the job, there was a fatigue with Cal at that point, no doubt, in Lexington, but, it was also, okay, he gets the job because we're expecting you to do the thing that Cal could not do, and that is basically, at this sort of recent history, find ways to be successful in the postseason. And at a certain point, like, that is the discussion. And we don't, do we believe you can get us to that point? We're not sure. And so if we don't know that, then, okay, you have North Carolina situations. You have other situations as well that are kind of similar. And I think that's just sort of the story when it comes to, just what's going to happen at Kentucky. Is they could come out and win 28 games next year in the regular season. But if they lose in the second round, we're going to be having the same discussion. And so that's just kind of the difference when it comes to Kentucky basketball and where it stands, and it'll be the same with North Carolina. So
It will be. And now all the talk about North Carolina, but also now a lot of talk about LSU. And we've been asking you for the last couple of months about what could happen with LSU and Will Wade. And now it looks like things are starting to be put in place for LSU to make that run at Will Wade, as the report came out earlier today that LSU is looking to add McNeese's athletic director to an athletics administrative role. Now some reports out there that NC State is going to meet with Will Wade, try to make him a big offer to stay. But what are you making of what we're seeing? And it looks like a very realistic perspective that Will Wade could be right back at LSU.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're at a point right now, based on everything I've heard, I'd be stunned if he's not the head coach at LSU next year. I just think it's going to happen, and I think everything is moving towards that, and it's really just about the timing at this point, based on getting lower buyouts and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think that's really where we're at, and I mean, am I surprised by this? Not necessarily. I mean, this is kind of something, again, that you knew Matt McMahon was entering a pretty interesting year for him at LSU, and he really needed to win, and unfortunately he got hit with kind of the same thing that had hit LSU the previous year, and that had a lot to do with injuries, and it just simply became a situation where he didn't have that luck when it came to being able to keep guys in the lineup. He loses a starting center, loses a starting point guard. What do you know? You wind up struggling in the SEC when you don't have those two things. And I think that really just came down to there was only going to be so much they could do when you looked at how many people were in the building and just trying to find ways to sort of get that energy back up within the program and the community and the fan base. What can you sell them? Well, you can sell them the last guy that did it. And sure, you can also sell the things that happened to lead him out of town. But you know what? They just want to win. And I think that if that's what LSU wants to do and they're willing to put the money into it, which I don't know that they've been able to do that necessarily when Matt McMahon's been the coach, will they do it if Will Wade's there? You bet they will. They'll get more money from the big-time boosters. They'll get more money from an NIL perspective, and they'll be off and running, and I don't think anyone will sort of bat an eye.
Of these three places, who should win their first one first? LSU, Tennessee, or Texas?
I would probably say Texas, because I think Texas probably would be the one that is going to put the most into it. And, I think there's been plenty of discussion. If Wade gets the job, I just mentioned, I think LSU will put something a bit more than they have. If Tennessee, it's been an interesting one. I've heard some stuff, heard something in the SEC tournament a couple weeks ago, that there were some questions there regarding, basketball, NIL, and all this other stuff. Now, again, it's everything. You never know. But, it could be interesting to watch when it comes to whether Rick Barnes retires this offseason, 2 years from now, whatever it is. That's obviously a big job that opens up, and I think that commitment is going to be very important when it comes to the pool of coaches that you're going to be able to pull from. But I would say Texas, just because I do look at Texas and feel like, we know what their resources are. We know what that can look like. And even though football is what it is there and baseball and everything else, I do think Sean Miller, while he's the coach, is going to be giving lots of opportunities to succeed. And I don't know that this was necessarily the fairest representation of what that's going to look like in year one. I think that's only going to probably grow from here. So.
We talked about that North Carolina opening, and it sounds like Brad Stevens, he already turned it down, but Billy Donovan, it sounds like there's a lot of traction there starting to form. But when it was kind of questionable, are they going to make the move? Are they going to fire Hubert Davis? The two big names out there were Nate Oates and Todd Golden, for good reason. Do you think either of those coaches could be on the move before the start of next season, whether at North Carolina or maybe another job that pops open?
Yeah, I think the second part of that is where the discussion gets interesting, because I don't necessarily see either one at North Carolina. I guess stranger things have happened. If Billy Donovan were to turn it down, I do believe it's probably the front runner at this point. If he turns it down, then you start moving down that list a bit, and certainly I think you could get to a point where Golden could have a choice to make. He would probably be the more likely candidate in my opinion over Oates. But again, I do think it's one of those where it's North Carolina, and I don't expect them to get too far down that list. And it just really depends on where are those two guys on their particular list right now. But, if they do hire someone else, if they hire Donovan, obviously it doesn't affect any sort of domino effect in college basketball. But that's where you start to get into Kansas and all of these kind of scenarios that can open up. And I think, to me, that's where it starts to get more interesting, because if you have dominoes that start to fall there with a big-time coach taking the Kansas job or something like that, then maybe there are more questions that have to be asked. And, again, what are those jobs that a Todd Golden or Nate Oates would leave for right now? I mean, remains to be seen, again, what that would look like, because you're going to see Dusty May's name on all of these. You're going to see Tommy Lloyd's name on all of these. And so if you were to get one of those just big dramatic moves from one of those guys, well, then you're like, okay, well, Michigan just opened up. Nate Oates would be interested maybe. Arizona opens up. And so you've got all these potential things that come into play at that point, but it's still too early to tell until we figure out whether Billy Donovan's heading back to North Carolina. So,
you think anybody needs to let Senator Tuberville know about his legislation that really kind of locks people back in 1979 style into the school they go to, but it doesn't prevent these coaches from leaving?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's just, and I know you guys have seen all the stuff out there. Like, it, just as I'm talking about it, like this morning, just kind of the state of where things are right now, just in general, just as a whole. It's wild that this is kind of where we are, but it is. And I'm like, it's just, I think it's so hard when you look around at just how different schools, different states, like, and all of these different levels are able to kind of operate and navigate everything that's going on right now in terms within college sports and what you have to do. And I just think that's going to be the story for many more years now, and see what kind of, tweaks are made here or there, again, whether it's just at the NCAA level, whether it's just at a state level, like all this kind of stuff. It's really just going to be fascinating.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be fun over these next couple days. See what happens in the Sweet 16, if maybe one of these 4 SEC teams can advance to the Elite 8. But Blake, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again next Wednesday.
Always enjoy it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Blake.
Thank you so much, Blake Lovell, talking college basketball, SEC 16 with us. Brian, did you see the proposed legislation from Senator Tommy Tuberville?
I missed it. No, I didn't get a look at it.
Well, it's really it is putting the toothpaste back in the tube.
Interesting.
It's 1979 style, but no limitations for the coaches.
Of course not, because that wouldn't be popular with his buddies, Brett. I mean, he's gotta stay popular at the golf club with his other coaching buddies. So.
It's stunning.
Yeah, well,
it's still stunning. And I can live under laws enacted or written by Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah, no, it's a weird world we are living in for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens over these next couple of years. But if he's in charge, oh boy, it could be some weird stuff.
Got a text that says, "Slow down on Billy Donovan stepping back into college basketball as the best coach in the sport." This texter mentions Rick Pitino. And that's who Billy Donovan played under and learned under, and I think owes a lot of his career to, and gives a lot of credit for it. And Rick Pitino's won it twice, one at Kentucky and one at Louisville, said to be the same number of national championships. So I guess that could be a strong case.
Sure, I mean he would certainly be up there, but I do think Billy Donovan, if he's not number one, he's top 3, top 4. I mean he is right up there. For sure, if he returns to college coaching.
Our guest, Blake Lovell, is on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the hometown teams, like the Tigers and the Grizzlies, and at FedEx Forum with the Floor Seat Lounge. You can go back there and look at those beautiful display cases. Just a glimpse of what you can see at the great location at 4542 Poplar. Bill Jones and his team, part of the fabric of the community, here to stay with the Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, everything that says that special moment in your life. 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood at Poplar and Perkins with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. Sissy's, they offer a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts since 1970 with all the great locations across the Mid-South, across the heart of SEC and this part of the country. Official jeweler for the Grizzlies, and at FedEx Forum with the Floor Seat Lounge. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, speaking of all these coaches, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we return, the Sweet 16 gets started tomorrow night. We're going to rank the 16 remaining coaches, 1 through 16, but we're going to say if they all have the same basketball team, just who's the best coach out of this bunch, ranked from number 1 to 16. Don't go anywhere. We do that next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby. at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Sorrento TG 414140, MSRP 34030, Sportage T 7271780, MSRP 31865, Telluride SVGO 19639, MSRP 45540, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through KFA, excludes tax title license, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 3/31/2026.
If you're looking for a new ride, we got it at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. Hey, Jeff Allen, what's up?
We are rocking, Randy, at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Take your pick. I've got a 2026 Kia Sorrento LX or a 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid LX, $297 a month. That's less than a latte a day for a new ride. Or the new 2027 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive, only $479 a month. All 24-month lease, $39.99 due at signing.
And don't forget about 2026 EV9, $12,000 off or 0% for 60 months available. And every Gossett Kia comes equipped with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
This traffic report brought to you by City Center Liquor just off Highway 70 in Lakeland. Local, friendly, and always fully stocked. For a 5% discount, tell them Sports 56 sent you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Heavier traffic volume in the last few minutes, pretty much on schedule going outbound on Sam Cooper up by Perkins as that traffic gets heavier over here around the 101 connector on I-40 there at Watkins, trying to push through Midtown right now. Steady flow of traffic 240 south at South Parkway. Be careful of radar south of Memphis on 55 in parts of DeSoto County. Hey, bridal season just around the corner. Shop local at Weimer's Jewelry. You'll always save money when you go there first. Weimer's Jewelry located 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and we got to talk some more Sweet 16, but we got to rank some coaches. 16 teams remaining. That means 16 coaches remaining, and we're going to do something interesting here, ranking them 1 through 16 based on kind of more the X's and O's, the coaching. If everyone has the same team on the court, who is the best coach? Which I think this is interesting because I think it's different from kind of who's the best coach and just of who's the best kind of X's and O's coach. So I think this is going to be an interesting list. I'm very curious kind of how we all differ with this list.
Yeah, this impossible task. Yeah. Some great coaches. Mm-hmm. I wish I had done this before we started, to tote up all the wins from the 16 coaches.
It'll be a lot. It'll be a ton.
Would you guess an average 600?
Yeah, I mean,
you got some way up there and some that are just kind of getting going like Dusty May. But okay, if it's 500, mm-hmm. I mean that's a lot of wins among these coaches. I wonder where this ranks with Sweet 16 win total. Somebody out there has that.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't think about to do it. Brian, you start us.
All right, I'll start. I'll go from the bottom to the top. So I'll start at 16. 16 Nate Oates. I mean, give me a break, that guy.
Okay.
I mean, good Lord, I can't. But that might be personal bias on my part. I don't know.
Okay.
Number 15, I'm going with Sean Miller. Number 14, Brad Underwood. Number 13, Dusty May. 12, and this might surprise some, Dan Hurley. I do love Dan Hurley. He's one of my favorite coaches out there.
Well,
I have him at 12. I do. Number 11, Rick Pitino. Number 10, Kelvin Sampson. Number 9, Tommy Lloyd. Number 8, Matt Painter. Number 7, TJ Otzelberger. Number 6, John Calipari. Number 5,
got Cal 6.
Okay, all right. Wow. So we're in agreement at 6. 5, John Shire. 4, Ben McCullum. 3, Fred Hoiberg. 2, Rick Barnes, and number 1, Izzo.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my list.
Well, Brett, I'll let you catch your...
It seems that I've made y'all speathead.
Yeah. Well, Brett, you can, I guess, gather your thoughts. I'll go with my list next. Hopefully,
Fire away.
Hopefully you don't have to gather your breath too much. But I'll do the same. I'll go from 16 to 1 for me. My 16, I have Ben McCullum. My number 15, I went with Sean Miller. 14, Fred Hoiberg. 13, Brad Underwood. 12, TJ Otzelberger. 11, Rick Barnes. 10, Nate Oates. 9, John Shire. 8, Rick Pitino. 7, John Calipari. 6, Matt Painter. 5, Dusty May. 4, Tommy Lloyd. 3, Tom Izzo. 2, Kelvin Sampson. And number 1, Dan Hurley.
Dan Hurley 1. Okay. Again, no right or wrong. I know 16 would be a lot for people to text in. Text in 2 or 3 at the top, 1, 2, or 3, and maybe 2 or 3 at the bottom, 16, 15, 14, something like that. The middle, I thought the middle was hard. This all was hard.
Yeah, it was.
And,
it was.
And with the mission statement, equal gene pool. I mean, just the same players, which that's impossible to do because nothing's that same, but that makes it hard. I'm going to go in order. I'm going to go number 1. I think Rick Pitino could go win right now with anybody's players anywhere. Rick Pitino 1, Danny Hurley 2, Kelvin Sampson 3, Tom Izzo 4, Barnes 5, John Calipari 6, and I thought that was a little high, but I did go 6. You went 7, right, Brian?
No, I went 6.
I went 7, John Calipari.
You went 7, okay.
6 with
so
Calipari.
2 6s and a 7.
Yeah.
And when we had no collusion in this, none. We didn't compare any
we did
list.
not.
7, Dusty. You can tell we did not. 7, Dusty.
We did not.
I think that's clear to people. 7, Dusty May. 8, Nate Oates. 9, Tommy Lloyd. 10, Matt Painter. 11, Sean Miller. Aren't Sean Miller and Matt Painter kind of the same guy and the same coach? Yeah. And kind of been at the same places. 12, Brad Underwood. 13, John Shira. 14, TJ Otzelberger. 15, Fred Hoiberg. 16, Ben McCollum.
Wow. All right.
If you're an AD and could hire any of them for your future, that would probably limit hiring Pitino, Izzo, even Cal, Rick Barnes. Who would you hire?
Like you said, I think that limits it a lot. I would probably hire
Dusty May for me.
Sure, I think that's a good one. I'd probably hire Hurley if I was just, if you were just telling me to hire one of those guys.
The Lakers wanted him.
Sure, I mean, yeah, if he's good enough for the Lakers, he's good enough for whatever college I am.
I'd hire Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy
Lloyd.
That's a good one.
Young blood. I think he's been doing really good building this team up.
No,
he's got to win tomorrow night, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, tomorrow is a
heavy favorite.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of, Arkansas's had a good run, but.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of the thing that is starting to stick with Arizona of just the lack of success in the postseason, in the tournament. So, I think tomorrow is important to get to the Elite Eight for them. And Arkansas's played extremely well, and I think that will be a really fun game.
Really should be.
Yeah, it should be. We had a texter that texted in, Nate Oates is in the top 5. I have him at 16. I forgot where y'all had Nate Oates.
I had him 8.
Okay, 8. So
I had him 10.
Okay, 8, 10.
I think
16.
Maybe a little personal bias in there for me, but I think if you look at my list, I think you can see a lot of the quote unquote recruiters are towards the bottom of my list. And I think I was kind of viewing it more of coaching, X's and O's. If you're just already giving me a team and it's all the same, that's kind of how I went with my list. And that's why I think we kind of have a little bit different towards the top than, or at least I have different than what y'all have at the top.
Brian, I'm really may be disappointing some of the diehard, really strident Cal dislikers out there. I want people to remember at UMass what he found and what he left. Then even at Memphis, from that press conference at the Pyramid, spring of 2000, to the helicopters overhead and people out protesting to stay and protesting, if you go, we're going to dislike you forever. And even at Kentucky, what he found, the wreckage from Billy Clyde to what he did and accomplished there. And a lot of us, me, one of them, thinking he's taking him, put it in Crew's retirement job at Arkansas in back-to-back 16s.
That's right. No, I mean, he is very clearly an incredible coach.
I have fulfilled my quota of being nice to John Calipari.
I think you've gone over the last couple of weeks, but no, I mean he's an incredible coach. Look, if we were just ranking,
been accused of this on the John Calipari.
Okay.
You wouldn't say any of this if he wasn't in Arkansas. Really
interesting. Yeah, I disagree with that, but I think you're giving credit where credit's due. And yeah, I mean, if this was just ranked the 16 coaches from best to worst, I think he would be in my top probably 3 or 4. So I mean, I have him at 6 right now, which is a little different, but I think he's a great coach and has a good opportunity tomorrow night for sure. So
he does.
Yeah, no. Both of y'all had Ben McCullum very low in y'all's list.
Number 16.
Why not having him? Had both of y'all had him at 16, right?
I think we did.
Yeah, I did.
Why so low? I mean, what's going on there? I had him at 4. What's the difference there? Is it Iowa? Is it because he's at Iowa?
It was hard. It was hard for me to differentiate between a team that I believe should have made it this far and not.
For me, that's a reason why I put them higher. I mean, they have to go out there and coach well. I mean, they're not able to go out there and get the top 10 guys in the country like some of these other guys on the list are. They're having to go out there and really coach these guys up to go out there, win the Big Ten. I mean, we've talked about how tough the Big Ten has been this season, to go out there and play well in the Big Ten and then get into the tournament, make it to the Sweet 16. I mean, man, I had both those coaches much higher.
And we talk about that if Nebraska could pull the Indiana from football, and Indiana's been way out of whack in basketball for a while now. They had it fixed with Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah,
they had him. They had the right guy.
Yeah, no, they did.
And texting in prohibited times to a recruit, which in the order of NCAA transgressions at the time. Yeah. That was about number 812.
That's right. But of course, it was a big deal, especially back then. But no, I mean, I think you look up and down these 17 coaches that are remaining. You talked about all the wins that are that they stack up between each other. I mean, this is a great group of coaches.
It is,
and it's some real coaching that's going to be done over these next 2 days in the Sweet 16.
And you look at Kelvin Sampson's resume. You know how bad you want to be a head coach in 1981 to take on Montana Tech?
How about that?
Not Montana, not the Grizzlies.
Tech. Give me everything you got on Montana Tech,
State.
Brett. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry for the Montana Tech listeners in our area.
Which I know we have a lot.
Yeah, I mean, all 0 of you.
That's right.
I mean, that's wanting to coach. I mean, just... You'd take any job.
Yeah, and obviously did his thing there, and now what he even to think back, you don't even really have to go that far. I mean, look at what Houston was when he took over at Houston,
That's right.
and how he turned that around, and what he has now turned it into, where year in year out, people talking about them being a favorite to win it all and at least get to the Final Four. So just a really impressive career for him.
At a place where it felt like all we would ever talk about for the rest of time was Phi Slamma Jamma.
Yeah, and that is...
He changed that subject.
He did. It has changed, and it is now.
And he did it with my guy Rob Gray. I loved Rob Gray on his Houston teams.
He did. He absolutely did. So yeah, I'm excited about the Sweet 16 to get started tomorrow night, and see all these coaches in action, see who can advance to the Elite Eight, and then ultimately to the Final Four.
Listen up, Mid-South, Landers Ford in Collierville. They say make no payments for 90 days. That's right, during Ford Truck Month. Your number one Ford dealer gives you payment relief. New Ford F-150, 0% APR financing for 60 months. Zero down payment, zero payments for 90 days. I hope I have your attention. New F-150, 0% APR financing for 60 months. Zero down payment, zero payments for 90 days. Get started now with their Landers Easy Pass at LandersFordMemphis.com. It's only once a year, so act now. Shop one of the largest selections of new Fords before they're sold out at the number one Ford dealership in the Mid-South. That's Landers Ford. 0% APR, zero down payment, zero payments for 90 days. You heard it here first. There's zero to pay to drive today. Still the rest of the day, first thing tomorrow morning, all weekend long, rest of the month. Give them a call to schedule your test drive at Landers Ford in Collierville. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Well, we've got some coaching news that I want to just put out there real quick, and we'll talk about it a lot at 5 o'clock with Kevin Sweeney. South Florida has made their hire for men's basketball. Chris Mack, who was at Charleston, I like. He's going to be the next coach at South Florida. We'll be really interested what Kevin has to say about that. That is a really good spot Charleston is. They've got a lot of resources in a small conference. So to make the jump to South Florida, I think is interesting. I saw somebody, I don't remember now who put it out there, but some people even talking about he was trying to kind of line up some of these power conference jobs if a move was made in the next couple of days with North Carolina or another big job to maybe try to get a power conference job, but ultimately he'll be in the American at South Florida. We also got a texter that texted in and said, is Nate Oates the front runner for the North Carolina job? I don't think so.
Categorically not.
We will talk with Kevin Sweeney. I know he has done a lot of reporting about this.
Nate Oates fan we've stirred up.
And not the show for you, man. I'll just tell you that. I mean, everything else is, but not the Nate
Oates. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, and we want you to keep listening. And
remember the fine print on the proviso of the fast talking guy. My baseball picks tomorrow are for Newsman only.
Yeah, yes. I mean,
you can't really pay off your house mortgage with
it. But we'll give you a lot. I don't know if we can give you much on Nate Oates. I do not think he's the leader at North Carolina, but we will talk about it a lot with Kevin Sweeney, and he can give us a full list of who is kind of the front runner, who is lined up. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll talk a lot about that at 5 o'clock. But let's get to a break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Listen up, Mid-South. Landers Ford in Collierville says make no payments for 90 days. That's right. During Ford Truck Month, your number one Ford dealer gives you payment relief. New Ford F-150, 0% APR financing for 60 months. Zero down payments. Zero payments for 90 days. Are you listening? New F-150s, 0% APR financing for 60 months. Zero down payments. Zero payments for 90 days. Get started now with our Landers Easy Pass at LandersFordMemphis.com. Shop one of the largest selections of new Fords before they're sold. It's only once a year. Act now. 0% APR, zero down payment, zero payments for 90 days. There's zero to pay to drive today. Landers Ford in Collierville. If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2025 Total Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market, with approved credit from Ford Credit. Minimum monthly payment of $1667 per 1,000 finance. Regardless of down payment, interest accrues from inception. Example, 2025 Ford F-150 Lariat. VIN number 1FTFW5L8XSFB 43528. MSRP $71,675. Ford bonus cash $1,000. Sale price $70,675. Based on 0% APR financing for 60 months. Price, tax, title, and $695 processing fee. See dealer for complete details. Offer ends 4/2/26.
We always say that Bell Tavern is not a sports bar. Bell Tavern is a great neighborhood bar that happens to have sports on the TVs. And this month, those TVs will spend a lot of time showing the madness of college basketball. Sure, Bell Tavern is still going to have the coldest beer, the best signature cocktails, and the friendliest staff in town. But there will also be a whole lot of college basketball excitement. Maybe not your favorite team, but plenty of teams to root for. And all in the casual, comfortable atmosphere of Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown neighborhood bar.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Room's got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
And she says, I wish that I could.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
What up, big guy? I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Oh, my big number today is the number 6. It has to do with the NBA, and it is 6 for the amount of games that the Orlando Magic have now lost in a row. They made it 6 last night on the road against the Cleveland Cavaliers, 136-131, the final score of that one. They haven't won a game since a March 14th win over the Miami Heat. Oh, that was a road game against Miami Heat, 121-117. That was part of a very long winning streak to start the month of March, but really, since then, it has been all losses. Now, they do have a game tomorrow night that seems very winnable at home against the Sacramento Kings, so I don't believe the losing streak will continue. But you look at the way their season ends, there are some tough games down there. They could fall into that play-in, and certainly it would be interesting to see how that play-in plays out, and then where they're ultimately where that pick lands, because that's what we're all paying attention to, is where that pick, because we know that pick will go to the Memphis Grizzlies wherever it's at. And so if they keep moving in this direction, that could fall into the lottery, which would be great news for the Grizzlies.
My big number is 6. Of the Sweet 16 teams, 6 are past champions at some point in their college basketball history. Duke many times, Michigan State 79 and 2000, UConn many times, Arizona one time 1997, Arkansas one time 1994. Arkansas beat Arizona in the semifinals that year at the Final Four when they won it all in 94, and Michigan with the Steve Fisher run in 1989. We could have a newly minted all-time champ, and Brighton, we're really in play for a new 21st century champ.
Yeah.
Well, Arkansas, Arizona, and Michigan would be that.
Yeah.
They won one, but not in the 21st century. But the representative from the South, that whomever it is going to be, whether it's Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, or Houston, that's guaranteed to be new champ and new 21st century champ if it comes out of there.
Yeah, it could be a lot of fun to see who ultimately wins. Now, there's the flip side of that. It, could be one of these teams. Exactly. I was just gonna say one of these teams that has won a lot, which would be
UConn.
Duke. Certainly could be UConn. It's gonna be fun over these next couple of weeks.
If it's not St. John's, we won't have anything new out of the East.
That's right. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to watch, and very rare that we have the same big number. So that is a nice thing for a Wednesday afternoon, and both to be the same number and both to be different, which is very, very rare.
College basketball in the 21st century, 13 different national champions. Of course, we sadly didn't have a champion in 2020. I don't know who it was going to be. We didn't have one that year. College football, we had the new one with Indiana winning, and it's been 14 college football different national champions.
And how many for basketball did you say?
13.
13. So yeah, right there with each other.
But did not crown a champion.
Right.
And I don't know if it had been. I think Kansas was going to win. I don't know.
Sure. There's certainly no telling. But it would be fun if it's another new winner this year.
I like new.
Hey, I'm all for new. It makes for great storylines, and I just pulled up who the top teams were that season. We didn't play a national championship. There's
give them to me.
Kansas, which obviously would have been on.
I knew they were.
Here are a couple teams that would have been, or at least one. Gonzaga was 2. That would have been.
It probably cost him. That might have been it.
It probably did. The team that ultimately won it the next year, Baylor, they were 3rd. Dayton, Duke, San Diego State, Michigan State, Ohio State, Louisville, and West Virginia round out the top 10 on KenPom for that year. So, would have been some new, some old, but
might have been Huggins' last best chance.
Could have been. But I don't know how.
Any appetite out there to hire him anywhere?
I don't think so. No,
I
don't think so. I know he was at the Jared Calhoun press conference earlier today, giving him a big hug because they were together back at Cincinnati. So I did see him, video of him today, but I don't think there's much of an appetite to go out there and hire him for any school, which probably a good idea. But
try selling that to your AD.
It's tough. There's a lot of things today that you could sell that you couldn't sell 5 or 6 years ago, i.e. Will Wade.
Right.
That's one of those where it's still not much of an appetite out there for it. But it is, obviously some openings open now, and we'll see if more come from it. But mentioned, we're going to talk a lot in our next segment with Kevin Sweeney about everything going on at North Carolina. Some of these other places, we'll definitely talk a lot of college basketball with the tournament with him as well. But before we get to this break, let me remind you, perfect time. If you're heading out this weekend, tonight, tomorrow night, the next night, you need a place to watch these games. Well, I've got the perfect spot for you. It's Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley. Bell Tavern, it's the perfect bar for a night out with your friends. Or if you're just out and about and want to catch a game, stop in there. It will be the perfect spot. It's not one of those loud, rowdy, obnoxious sports bars that you just dread going to. No, it's the complete opposite. Enjoy a night at Bell Tavern with one of their great cocktails in their quiet, dimly lit bar. And it's not just the drinks. Bell Tavern has the best bar food in Memphis. Pair one of their gourmet burgers with the coldest beer in the city for a perfect night out. For more information about our friends over at Bell Tavern, give them a call, 901-249-6580, or go online to belltavern.com. Head out there this weekend and check out what they have at Bell Tavern. But let's go ahead and wrap up this second hour, get to a break, and when we return, we're going to talk a whole bunch of college basketball, the tournament, the offseason, who does North Carolina hire? We'll get to all that next with Kevin Sweeney.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, there's some things about the Rendezvous I want to talk about. For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to-go orders. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. Brett, we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear, please listen carefully for our menu has changed. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of their mother's maiden name, dial it now. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. Taking care of families isn't new to us. It's what we've done across the Mid-South since 1958. Now celebrating 68 years in business, Choate's is still family-owned, award-winning, and committed to doing things the right way. With honest service, expert technicians, and industry-leading warranties that bring real peace of mind. To celebrate, we're offering our $68 deals. Get our $68 early bird AC tune-up special, or just need Freon to get you cooling, get $68 off per pound. If your system is struggling, don't wait for it to fail on the hottest day of the year. Upgrade today and get up to $2,000 in Carrier Cool Cash rebates on select Carrier systems. Plus, enjoy 60 months no-interest financing on new HVAC systems, generators, or tankless water heaters. Call Choates at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, let our family serve your family.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit BinswangerGlass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Volkswagen Driver Days is going strong, and Gossett Volkswagen's got you covered on the pike. Get out here right now and get sporty 2026 Jetta S. We Gossett down just $249 a month. $249 a month for Jetta S. How about 2026 Tiguan S? We Gossett $269 a month. Yes, $269 a month for Tiguan S. And if you're looking for performance, style, and technology, look no further than 2026 Atlas SE. We Gossett at $319 a month. Or get 0% for 60 months available. You ready for a new ride? Well, we got you covered at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. 1875 Covington Pike or online, GossettBWMemphis.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month lease, Jetta TM 005137, MSRP 25820, Tiguan TMO 14510, MSRP 32585, Atlas TC 515398, MSRP 41841, includes all rebates and incentives, must be financed through Volkswagen Credit PF 895, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Heavy traffic now right on schedule, trying to get down through certain parts of Midtown on 240 South and South Parkway as it continues to build over here on 240 East from Millbridge out to 385 Bill Norris Parkway going outbound. It's gotten heavier out towards the Collierville area. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. If you're having transmission problems, bring it to Amco Transmissions with 2 locations here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Say you stand for
We're back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we start our third and final hour on this Wednesday afternoon. We got to talk some college basketball, and joining us like he does every week throughout the college basketball season, Kevin Sweeney from Sports Illustrated. He joins us now. Go give him a follow on social media at CBB_Central. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. So much to get into. We've got on the court stuff. We've got off the court stuff. Postseason, off-season, everything in between. But let's start with these 16 teams that have made the Sweet 16. Who's impressed you the most through the first two rounds that are still standing?
I think Michigan looked like an absolute monster, particularly against St. Louis. You're reminded how overwhelming they can be with their size, their physicality, their length at the rim. It was a compelling showing. I'll see them here in Chicago this weekend. Obviously have, two tough ones to get through, but, I feel pretty good about the Wolverines and where they're at the moment.
Yeah, you have to feel good about them. Right now, I know you can do it all. More interested on the court or the coaching carousel?
Man, it's funny. I always feel like this week is the busiest week of my year because you still have the games going on. You start to really heat up some of the portal talk and whatever. And then you heap upon now Carolina Open, potentially some other massive jobs to come in the coming days and really even hours. And so it's been nutty. I do think the games are still different, but it's hard to block out the noise until really tip-off. The rest of the day, you spend more time thinking about the other stuff in the games. It'll be nice to get to Thursday night for sure.
Well, talking about the off-the-court stuff, the biggest story right now is North Carolina making the change. Hubert Davis is out. We'll see where they go from here. What did you make of that decision? And then tell us, who do you think some of those leading candidates are right now?
Yeah, I was not surprised in the kind of final days of it. I think once the VCU loss happened, it was going to be hard for him to generate the type of support he would need from boosters, administration, et cetera, to not to stay as the coach, but to win as the coach. And I think once that happens, it's best to cut bait as quick as possible. I was a little surprised it was as bumpy to get there as it was. I thought that it would be more of an amicable parting. We saw Hubert's message make very clear, I was fired, I was let go by the University of North Carolina. So that surprised me a little bit, but I think they feel it's essential to get outside the family and, are less worried about pissing certain people off than they would have been several years ago. And so I do think you'll hear some of the biggest names. Billy Donovan with the Bulls certainly would be a big swing that they will, I expect them to take. You'll hear about Tommy Lloyd and TJ Otzelberger and Dusty May. The challenge is, it's so expensive to get one of these type of names. And, the buyouts that you're staring down and, 8, 10, 12, in Todd Golden's case, $16 million. Those would be record-setting for a school to pay to get a guy out of a contract.
Kevin, could you believe that Memphis had a bigger buyout for Penny Hardaway than North Carolina had for Hubert Davis?
It is sort of remarkable, and Hubert, look, obviously has been. He got a sweetheart. He had to take a sweetheart deal when he got the job because he didn't have a whole lot of leverage and really hasn't had leverage at any point. And Carolina has in many ways been able to allocate funds differently because Hubert's contract has been what it has been, and that will be a big adjustment. If you're Hubert, if you're North Carolina, the days of paying a coach, mid-market is over. If you're going to swing for the best of the best, you're going to have to pay the best of the best. And they're already doing that in football with Belichick and his staff. They're going to have to do another big round of spending here to get the staff and front office even in place for basketball that they need.
You mentioned you thought it might be amicable. I'm not surprised. I don't think you're surprised. It rarely ends up being. There's almost never been a pretty divorce. It was I think he was offered the chance for resignation, reportedly, and he said no, so that they summarily fired him. So rarely amicable. You say they kind of got a discount with him. Did they treat Hubert Davis shabbily?
I think, look, at the end of the day, it would have been nice if the ending had looked a little cleaner. But I think it was time for where the program is. And look, I think Hubert Davis can leave North Carolina knowing he didn't leave it in a bad place, right? Obviously, they haven't won at the level they would have hoped the last couple of years, but if you're scripting out his tenure post-Roy to knock out Krzyzewski for good in the Final Four, to get a 1 seed a couple of years later, to make the NCAA tournament, I believe every year but one of his tenure, like, whoever's walking in does not have a mess to clean up. This is not Kenny Payne in Louisville. This is not some of the other disasters that we have experienced. So I think because of that, my thought is that in time, the relationship will mend and we'll see Hubert around Chapel Hill again. But as you said, these things are never usually as easy as you'd think, even for someone like Hubert, who is probably as low ego as any big-time head coach in college sports.
And for as much as it seems like today, there will never, ever be kissing and making up. There will be the day that he goes back for the reunion, for something. And, look, when, Nolan Richardson had Arkansas in federal court on discrimination, on a discrimination case, and it just felt like, no, there will never be peace in our time with Nolan and the Razorbacks. His name's on the court. He's brought back as what he should be brought back as a great coach. Time has a way to fix all things. I swear, I'm not trying to belabor something, Kevin or Bryant, to our listeners, but I bring this all back to Penny Hardaway still being convinced he's been mistreated in the job at Memphis. No, not a chance you have been.
No, look, I think Memphis is maybe not. Maybe there hasn't been enough patience, or hasn't been what he would view as enough patience in the media and whatnot. But I also think at the end of the day, that's part of the reason that he has struggled. Like, when you have a big job in a major market, like, you cannot live on the internet, and it does feel a little bit like, especially when things have been bad, like, Penny hears it all. Yeah. And like that like, this is the reality at every big program in college basketball. And if you don't want that reality, like, don't take the job. That to me, it's almost that simple.
Yeah, and Kevin, I've said that he kind of wants, supplication, and he's very rabbit-eared, he's very thin-skinned, and he can't be. This is big-time business.
Oh, no question, right? And look, I think that is the challenging dynamic of the person who Penny Hardaway is being the head coach at Memphis, right? And it's a dynamic we saw at St. John's with Chris Mullen and, Patrick Ewing at Georgetown, and the list goes on, right? Like, when you were already a deity in the town or at the school before you ever coached a game, like, how do you deal with the ups? Like, Coach Penny Hardaway and person Penny Hardaway have to get separated in the conversation in a way that it's really hard to do. And as someone who's sitting there feeling all that criticism, like, he has to understand the criticism is not, oh, we do not appreciate Penny Hardaway as the person. It's, we don't know if Penny Hardaway is the guy for our basketball program right now. Like, the line has to get drawn kind of mentally, as hard as that can be for any rational human being.
Yeah. No question. When you look at this Hubert Davis situation, and I know we were talking about the bad feelings right now. I did love his son's Instagram post, Elijah, with the him wearing the jersey, but the North Carolina was scribbled out with white marker. But you mentioned Billy Donovan in there. That feels like right now the guy that has the most steam. He feels like the leader right now for this job. The report came out from Chicago yesterday before this was this decision was made, that he will likely not return to Chicago to be the head coach of the Bulls next season. Do you think that these two line up together? Do you think there were maybe some conversations going on behind the scenes before they ultimately pulled the plug? Because it felt like this dragged on in terms of Hubert Davis. How much smoke do you think there is between North Carolina and Billy Donovan right now?
Look, I think Billy understands that he would be well positioned for the job if he wants it. I think Billy has done some legwork here in the last 72 hours or so of, like, how good of a job is this? What does the college landscape actually look like? Who are the critical people that I would need in my organization to navigate the current landscape, et cetera, right? And look, I think there's a lot made with Billy that he didn't like dealing with college basketball. He just wanted to coach, and, like, why would he want to deal with this world? And I think there's truth to that, but I also would tell you that, I think a lot of what he was bothered by was the fact that, like, you waste so much time kind of placating people, placating a high school kid by watching a bunch of their games, placating a parent, placating an AAU coach. And in some ways, like, the transactional nature of, like, look, you're here getting paid to be a point guard in North Carolina, like, show up and do your job. Like, or in the recruiting side of things, hey, like, we want to offer you $1 million to play point guard in North Carolina. Like, let us know if you're interested. It's a pretty good opportunity. Right?
And this is what we expect.
Exactly, right? I think he can handle that. Like, I think he would appreciate that, and he would hire people. He would have a GM that is very, very involved in roster building. I think probably as involved as any GM in the country would be, and bring him a couple of names and say, hey, here are the 3 point guards we can get. Pick one.
Do you know, is there a company, is an agent out there that's handling GMs? Because Memphis is, I think, close to hiring one. Is that been carved out there in the college basketball world?
I think a lot of the agents that represent coaches are starting to get into that world as well. I think, again, the thing that's tricky with GMs right now is some schools are hiring a general manager to report to the athletic director and essentially be a conduit between the athletic department and the basketball program. And some places are hiring a general manager that works for the basketball coach, right, and is essentially a recruiting staffer whose title is general manager. And there is a huge difference in that. There's, in some cases, a huge difference in responsibility. There's certainly a huge difference in the hiring process and what that looks like. A GM that reports to the coach, I mean, the coach picks his name, walks into the AD's office, says, I'm hiring this guy. Usually the AD says, all right, Sam, you're good, and starts the paperwork, right? Like, if it's an AD search, it's a much more convoluted process. Like, we don't see search firms really involved in that process right now for the most part. I do think maybe that will change here very soon. But that is the tricky dynamic, and I haven't seen it. It may be out there, and you guys would know better than I, what Memphis' plan is. Is the GM for Penny Hardaway a Penny Hardaway hire, or is it a Memphis hire?
Yeah. What do you think it should be? What do you think would be Penny Hardaway being best served?
I think, especially in a situation like this where there's a lot of negativity around the program, I think you get a better candidate if there's a feeling that this person we're bringing in is there to help us shape the future of Memphis basketball and work alongside Penny rather than under Penny. And I think that's the case in the vast majority of situations. Is you'd want a GM that works for the athletic department and is involved in really every part of the program other than X's and O basketball. But there's also room for that recruiting staffer alongside a GM, and that's, I think, is the fascinating thing. We'll start seeing front offices built out, not just we've got one general manager who's in charge of things.
But we know, or at least we can feel fairly confident, that at Arkansas, Chris Woolard reports to John Calipari. I would bet you John Calipari would tell him, I better never see you talking to Hunter Yurchek.
Yes. No, right? Like, that's the that's the interesting dynamic here, right? In a lot of respects, is, ADs need to know a certain amount of information. We don't want the AD knowing everything. Yes, if you're the head coach's guy, how does that work? Like, these things are like very political organizations in a lot of ways, and I think it's one of the reasons, quite frankly, that a lot of the folks who have come from the NBA to be college GMs are frustrated in their role early on. Is because there's just so much more like weird infighting and politics and who reports to who and who controls.
You're dealing with HR more.
100%. 100%. It's a very difficult world to navigate.
Well, since we brought up Memphis, I guess we'll stick in the American. 2 coaching hires. I'm curious your thoughts on Brian Hodgson to Providence, and then replacing him, just announced about an hour ago, Chris Mack. What do you make of those 2 moves?
Yeah, I think Hodgson and Providence are a good fit together. He's a great recruiter. He has ties in the Northeast. I think he'll do well to accumulate talent, and they will back him financially if he starts to do that at a pretty high level. I thought it was a good hire. I thought it made a lot of sense. A little surprised by the Mack hire at South Florida. He's done an okay job at Charleston. Maybe not quite as good as you'd expect for how elite a job that is, especially compared to their league. South Florida, he spent a lot of time in Florida in between the Louisville tenure and getting the Charleston job. He likes it down there. I think that was a big pull for him. But I thought South Florida might go for more of a up-and-comer, someone who's a rising star, the same way that Hodgson was. But look, the challenge at these jobs is, like, you want some semblance of continuity, right? Like, it's not a healthy way to live to be what Utah State has been, which is losing a coach every 2 years, essentially, over the last 6 or 7. And so I think if you're South Florida, you're viewing Chris Mack as maybe a guy that can maintain a good program at South Florida instead of someone who's using it as a launching pad.
Kevin, over these 8 games, over the next 2 nights, 4 tomorrow night, 4 Friday, what's the team, kind of the underdog look out for team, and then the favorite? Boy, you don't want to play them. They're headed to Indianapolis.
You know, I think. Look, I feel pretty good about Michigan getting out of Chicago, just because of the way that the bracket is built. Right, Alabama's good, but not big enough, and Iowa State's banged up. I have a hard time believing this is the year that Tennessee actually does it. I just feel like they have a good chance to maybe cruise, and then on the opposite side of that, you stare down Duke's path to go through Pitino and then either Hurley or Izzo. That just feels really scary. Duke's obviously phenomenal and a great chance to win it all, but it'll take some serious guts to win these 2 games.
Yeah, no question about it. Looking at some of these games tomorrow night, you look at some of these interesting matchups. You've got Iowa and Nebraska. I don't know how many people had either of those teams making it to the Sweet 16, and then what should be maybe the best game of the night with Illinois and Houston. Your thoughts on those 2 games?
Yeah, certainly a fun one. Cool for Iowa to be here after, such a long run of tournament struggle, and obviously Nebraska. No one knows it like they do, tournament struggle. So nice to have some fresh faces. I think that'll be a grinder, slow pace, who can execute better in the half court offensively. Obviously very familiar with each other. They split the season series. And then the Illinois-Houston game, great contrast in styles. The speed, the athleticism of Houston, the skill, the shooting, the size with Illinois, the raw, just length and athleticism is maybe on Houston's side, but size with the 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" that Illinois can bring in off the bench is pretty impressive. So looking forward to that one. I do like Illinois in that game to pull the upset, but the crowd will certainly be in the Cougars' favor here down in Houston.
Yeah, no, that's the big story starting to make its rounds as Houston got to shoot around in practice today. But they're playing in Houston, and it's now Rice taking over the site for that. This Tennessee-Iowa State game, that's the late night game on Friday. Tennessee has looked good through their first 2 games, but Iowa State, it feels like they've taken their game to another level. You go back to the Big 12 tournament and what they did up until they got to the semifinals, and then what they've done so far in the NCAA tournament. You take away the first 9 or 10 minutes of the first half against Kentucky, and they have looked extremely solid. What have you made of this Iowa State team in this matchup Friday night against Tennessee?
Yeah, obviously impressive what they were able to do, in the probably final 25 minutes against Kentucky. Sam and Lipsy just played so well, and their offense is a different level when he's as good as he was. If he does that again, especially if Jefferson's healthy, Iowa State will win that game. But Tennessee can grind you out. I think the question is, how do they score in a game like this? The way that Iowa State defends, the way they make it hard on you at the rim, how physical they are. That could be a problem for Nate Amen. I'm fascinated to see with Tennessee, like, just can they manufacture enough offense to win a grinder against this Iowa State team?
Yeah.
So you're not holding out for the 3rd Saturday in October matchup Sunday in Chicago between Bama and Tennessee, are you?
I mean, man, wouldn't that be something? Especially given the stakes. I mean, an opportunity for Rick Lawrence to get to the Final Four and bring Tennessee there finally. It'd be awesome. We'll throw a little party in downtown Chicago if that happens. We'll turn one of these bars into an SEC country and get the cigars out.
No doubt.
Let Rocky Top, Yay, Alabama, scream out in downtown Chicago.
That would be some sort of scene for sure. Kevin, before we let you go, what can you tell us about what's going on at LSU? As there's been the rumblings about going and making a play for Will Wade, but now with what they did earlier today, trying to bring in the McNeese athletic director, it sounds like they're really lining everything up to go out and get Will Wade. What can you tell us about this situation?
Yeah, this has been the rumor for months that they would find a way to reunite Will and this LSU program together. The governor of Louisiana is involved. Certainly,
he's always involved.
Yeah.
When's he run the state?
He is more involved than any governor ever has been in the coaching search, to my knowledge. So it's a messy situation. I do think it ends up in Will returning. I feel bad for NC State, but this is who you got in bed with at the end of the day. This is who Will Wade has always been.
Yep.
Will Wade will take care of Will Wade and leave a trail of mess in his wake, and that seems to be what he's doing in Raleigh right now.
You know who's loving it in the LSU athletics department? Lane Kiffin. He's looking like the Norman.
He may be the most normal person in that coaching world.
That is saying a lot. Well, Kevin, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all of these games that you're going to get to see, and we'll talk to you again next week. Yeah.
No, looking forward to the home game. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Kevin. Great stuff. Kevin Sweeney with us every week. It's been delightful since the start of college basketball. He'll go right through with us through the national championship game. Bryant, do you realize 2 weeks from today we will be making picks for the Masters?
Wow, that's hard to believe. I'm glad you brought that up. Did you watch any of Tiger last night?
I missed
You blinked and you missed it. I mean, it was a
He didn't get
rout
hurt,
last
did he?
night. No. He was fine, but it was the other team made it look very easy against them. They didn't even play the full thing. They got 10 holes in, and they said that there's no way they can come back, so call it quits. And he did. They were just kind of
They headed
filling
to the
time.
19th hole, huh?
Well, they headed to the press conference because everyone got to ask Tiger questions, and of course, as you can imagine, all the questions were about the Masters.
Did he reveal anything? Is he going to try?
He did not reveal a single thing. He just kind of
Pretty good at that.
You know how he is. He's really good at it. But
Can you believe we're there?
Mm-hmm.
Tiger at 50.
It's crazy. It is insane. But that'll be fun in a couple weeks to
That happened
pick
fast.
the Masters. Yeah, no, it is. It sneaks up on you, Brett, and it snuck up
Stick me
on
about it.
Tiger. So that'll be fun.
Right, you know I didn't know that. I'm going through the game notes for tonight for Giants
All right.
and Yankees.
All right.
Tonight, unless it'll be 19, it could end tonight though. Elio Ramos, if he starts in left field, it will end 19 straight years since no Barry Bonds of a different starter on opening day in left field.
Wow, is that right? That's crazy.
There's your game note of the day.
Yeah, no, that is really good, and I like Ramos a lot. So that'll be.
Have you been to any baseball game notes today?
I've not, Brett. I've not had the time to crack open the game notes. But how about, can I give you a game note of my
Yes,
own?
please. Yes.
Did you know this? I learned this earlier. So do you like eating rice? Like, are you a fan of rice? Like, I know you're kind of a picky eater like I am.
I need it with a lot of others. Here's what I like. Little bit of rice, bunch of beef tips on top.
Okay, I see.
And it kind of hides the rice.
Understandable. I actually like rice. I really enjoy rice.
Standalone, no.
Yeah, I could do it. And maybe add a little salt to it. Oh man, I love some rice.
I don't touch the shaker.
Well,
it's not in the prepared food. I don't add.
Interesting. So obviously you're familiar with Ben Rice, the player for the Yankees. He signed a sponsorship deal with Ben's Original Rice. I mean, that's perfect.
Madison Avenue had that one queued up, didn't
Perfect. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, what? And then I was like, well, no, that makes all the sense in the world. I mean, Ben Rice, he, of course, has to have a rice sponsorship. When you already have Ben's Rice, it makes it very easy. So.
I do. I love everything, every subject matter that we mostly plow through day in, day out, year in, year out. There's very few. This in college football, the night before, this is Christmas Eve for me.
Oh yeah, Brad. I mean, I've been sitting here, and obviously we've got SportsCenter on in here, and they've been kind of going to San Francisco and doing some live look-ins and different things like that. And I've kind of been sitting here like, man, I cannot wait to turn that game on tonight and watch it, and then obviously tomorrow. I really can't wait for NBC coverage tomorrow. I mean, like if it was a regular opening day, I think the first game is Pirates and Mets. Like I probably wouldn't watch Pirates and Mets on a regular opening day, but I will watch it tomorrow just to see the NBC broadcast. Like, that's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow.
I love those hats, the traditional Pirate and Met hat. Love those.
Those are two really good ones. But no, the baseball is here, and it is going to be.
Do you have a
blast to
second
watch.
favorite National League team? We know Cardinals. For years, I kind of thought the Giants, but that long ago passed for me.
I mean, there are a lot of teams.
I love their hats.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams that I enjoy watching, but I don't know if I would say they're kind of my second team. I can't really. No, I don't think so.
I like my Braves friends. I'm happy for them when they do well.
Yeah, I mean, I can enjoy watching the Braves. I won't be enjoying watching the Braves much.
Don't tell the Cub fans, but I don't mind when they do well. Don't want it too often. Once in since 1908, once in 100 and 18 years. That's enough.
I enjoy watching the Brewers. I like the Brewers team. I have a buddy that lived up in outside of Milwaukee last year. And
Love
he went to
Pat
a lot
Murphy.
of Brewers games. Yeah, he's great. So I kind of I like them, but no, not really. Looking up and down this, I don't have really.
I got Reds buddies.
Reds are
I'm
fun.
okay. Yeah,
I can enjoy watching them. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple teams, but nothing I would say kind of my second favorite. But there are teams that I definitely enjoy watching. But we're gonna get to a break here in a second. Before we do that, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team, they're ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out those brand new models like the Range Rover Sport, the Range Rover Velar, and the Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to JaguarBluffCity.com. But head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Well, let's get to another break. When we return, we'll talk about what's trending. We got to talk a lot of Grizzlies. They're in action tonight. They also put out some news last night regarding injuries. We'll do all that next on Sports Time.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Brownie, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova. Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With over 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
I got him on the line out there in Gossip Volkswagen Germantown. Hey, Marty McNate, what's going on?
I've got some big news. Volkswagen Driver Days is going on at Gossip Volkswagen Germantown.
And Marty McNate, I hear you've got some incredible deals happening right now.
You heard right, Randy. I got 2026 Jetta S, $277 a month.
$277 a month for Jetta. Hey, what else you got?
How about 2026 Taos S, $327 a month.
$327 a month for Taos S, and I hear you got a Tiguan deal out of this world.
2026 Tiguan S, $355 a month.
Well, it sounds like you got something for everyone.
Come see me, Marty McNate, at Gossip Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at gossipvwg.com. And remember, your future is what you make it.
All 36-month lease, Jetta TM 005137, MSRP 25820, Tiguan TM 014510, MSRP 32585, Atlas TC 515,398, MSRP 41841, includes all rebates and incentives, must be financed through Volkswagen Credit TF 895, excludes tax on the license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details, offer valid through end of the month, dealer stock only.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
This traffic report brought to you by City Center Liquor, just off Highway 70 in Lakeland. Local, friendly, and always fully stocked. For a 5% discount, tell them Sports 56 sent you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. As traffic gets a little bit heavier now up towards Millington on 51 going northbound as you try to get up through Woodstock. It's heavy to the south right on schedule with that volume. Be careful down through there south of Memphis on 55 down in parts of DeSoto County. We had a lot of radar down through there a little bit earlier. Hey, bridal season just around the corner. Shop local at Weimer's Jewelry. You always save money when you go there first. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We're back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we've got a little bit less than 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending, and what's trending right now. It's the Grizzlies. They're in action tonight, a home game against the San Antonio Spurs here in just a little bit. 7 o'clock is the scheduled start time for that game. But last night, the Grizzlies made news even though they were not in action, as Grizzlies PR put out an update on Ja Morant, Brandon Clark, and Zach Edey. And long story short, Ja Morant going to be out the rest of the season. Brandon Clark going to be out the rest of the season. And then, which this was the reaction when I saw, I go, Zach Edey, we already knew he was going to be out the rest of the season. What's this going to say? Zach Edey's just falling apart. Now he's having a procedure for discomfort in his elbow. I mean, good Lord. I mean, this guy's just
Is it catching?
Apart,
Did he get it from Ja?
It's a great
We got more
question.
elbow injuries than a baseball team.
Yeah, I mean, then maybe it is. You're rubbing elbows on the bench, and you just get that discomfort, and no, man, got to go have a procedure.
Are you catching all the videos? Somebody very intrepid at FedEx Forum at home games from behind the bench area, showing what I have seen and talked about since the elbow injury of Ja high-fiving with that elbow, low-fiving, moving around every way you can move. It does not appear to be injured.
Yeah, I have not seen. I did not know those videos even existed.
They're out there.
This is news to me. But yeah, I mean, we knew, felt pretty good when he first got this injury that he probably wasn't going to play the rest of the season. I always thought there was that, slight, just maybe they throw him out there. And then, once we got an update, I think I forgot the original, maybe 4 or 6 weeks. Once you got that update of it's going to be another 2 weeks, then you knew he was never going to return. And so now we know.
You just couldn't risk it.
No. It was just such a weird situation the Grizzlies found themselves in because of him not being able to stay on the court and be healthy. Is when you tried to move him before the trade deadline, you were just getting absolutely nothing in return. And so, it was, do you send him out there and try to let him have a nice couple games and show people, remind people kind of what he can be when he's healthy, or do you want to sit him? Because if you risk throwing him out there, there's always a risk for more injury. So they're going to sit him or keep him seated the rest of the season. And then, the most likely is that we're going to see a move in the offseason. When you get to the offseason, teams are able to make other moves with free agency and different things to clear up some more space. So maybe, you probably will see a better deal for Ja Morant come offseason, come summertime. But it's not going to be what you thought it would be for a trade, a year, 2 years ago.
What would you guess the return's going to be? Players, picks,
Brett, I was thinking about that this morning. I couldn't even tell
anything.
You. I have no idea.
Rack of basketballs, anything?
I really don't know. Like I said,
26.
Yeah, there are going to be teams out there, obviously, that are going to want him and want to make trades for him. But
Are we sure it's obvious? It wasn't at deadline.
Well, no,
time.
there were teams that wanted him. They just the deals weren't there. I mean, what they wanted to give up for him wasn't good enough. And so that's the thing: is it going to be good enough? My point is,
so they can give him.
Sure, there are teams that would be interested in him. Miami was interested in him before the deadline. The Bucks were interested in him before the deadline. Now the Bucks certainly will probably change depending on what happens with Giannis. But there were teams out there that were being reported interested in him, and so. Yeah, if you're just going to give him away, you can give him away. It's what the return is going to be because, I know at least Miami was one that pretty much everything was reported on their end of it was just going to be salary dump and bad contracts and just you're going to help us by giving us John Morant and then taking what we don't want. And the Grizzlies said absolutely not. So I have no idea. It will be better than that this offseason, I assume, but I don't think it's going to be much better than that. I really don't know what it's going to look like.
I'm going to bet right now. When we get the breaking news about the deal, the overwhelming, the prevailing sentiment's going to be, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
That's all we got back.
I'm sure it is. I mean, just the...
And it just adds to my not top story of just one of the sorrier endings ever.
Yeah, I mean it's
for our star.
Yeah, it's been super unfortunate, and
I didn't say superstar, Landon. You noticed that? I didn't say superstar.
Yes. No, you did not.
I chastised Landon one day for calling him a superstar.
Interesting.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
but you're entitled to if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just super unfortunate how it's ending.
We got to give Landon some credit too, Brian. We've been all week and haven't done this. And I am sorry for it because I know if I'd have been leading, I'd have probably started the show on Monday with bringing up.
Well, maybe you should have been here Monday, and then we could have given him credit. I'm not giving him credit today.
That's right. We did it Monday. You missed it, Landon.
That was an unnecessary jab.
We did it at 3:00:03.
No, we didn't do it then either. But you weren't here. So.
Landon leads among us three. He went 10-6 on Thursday, while Bryant was going 13-3, and I was going 11-5. On Friday, I went 14-2. Felt great about it. Bryant 13-3 on Friday. Yeah. I can't ever remember this of all the brackets I've graded and gone through the years. On Friday, Landon 16-0.
Wow, impressive. Very impressive.
Perfect.
Yeah.
On Saturday and Sunday, Landon went 6-2. On Saturday, I went 5-3. On Sunday, 6-2. Bryant, you went 6-2 on Saturday and 4-4 on Sunday. All that means Landon leads at 38 correct picks, 10 misses, and Bryant and I are both tied at 36-12. Bryant, I think Landon has me dormant. I just hadn't done enough and looked at it hard enough because I don't think I have a chance. I think Landon's got me. I think you're still alive. Iowa State really helps you.
And UConn. I have both my
UConn. Thank you.
Both of my championship games still alive, so that could help me at the end.
Florida gets me, and Florida, you're out in the Final Four with them. But Landon's Final Four bracket all still alive, and he's got Duke, Houston, Arizona, and Michigan.
All my Final Four are still alive. I had Houston in the Final Four.
Okay.
I think I did.
I thought you had Florida.
Maybe I did. I don't know. I thought I had Houston at least. Maybe I did have Florida, but I might have had Florida now that I think about it. I can't remember, but I mean it's gonna be interesting to see how this comes down. I think we'll learn a lot in the next couple of days with the Sweet 16. But
just nobody giving Arkansas a chance, are they?
No, I think most people think that it's going to be Arizona, but I think it could be a really, really fun game. And the way that Arkansas has been playing, they've been getting up and down the court. They've been very athletic and really getting out and going on the fast breaks. If they can do that against Arizona, now it's going to be a much bigger, physical, tougher team that they've seen in a while. It's going to be tough, but I mean, I'll give them a chance. Why not? This Arkansas team's been really fun to watch.
Back to the Grizzlies, Edey elbow. Are we taking that too cavalierly?
I don't. I'm no doctor, so I just
I don't even.
Who knows? Who knows?
I was more of an epidemiologist. I am orthopedist.
They could tell me that he is having an operation on every single part of his body, from the tip of his head to the bottom of his feet. As long as he's out there opening day, first game of the season next season, it's all that matters.
Me too.
Whatever happens. I do think it's probably something interesting just because this isn't
I don't
something
want a
that
drama-filled summer.
No, I definitely don't. And last year, obviously, you had the injury and the operation then, but I do think it's something because it's not like you had to make up anything. He's already out for the season. So, I mean, it's certainly something to go out there and put that out there that he's having this done. But
Wemby's worth going to see him tonight. I'm sorry, I can't. And I said one time, every time he comes into town, I'm going to make a point to go, and I can't tonight. Yeah,
it's going to be a fun game to see Victor Wembanyama out there. The San Antonio Spurs team has been awesome all season long. I mean, they are making a real run at Oklahoma City and maybe trying to catch that number 1 spot. I don't think they're going to be able to do it, but they're sitting in really nicely at that 2. And if we could get San Antonio and OKC in the Western Conference Finals, I think that would be awesome television and awesome games. And San Antonio's had all the success this season against Oklahoma City. So this is a fun team and will be nice to watch them and see some of these guys with the Grizzlies that are, I think, doing a really nice job in a really difficult situation. But right now, San Antonio is 16.5-point favorite on the road tonight. So Vegas expecting a massive Spurs victory.
Great news for everybody in our area. All-Star Chevrolet right there in Olive Branch. They're hosting the huge truck month sale right now. First exit as you head down into Mississippi on Highway 78, take Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there. Supplier prices for everyone. Save thousands. Nobody with more Silverados than at All-Star. You can drive home in a new Equinox, Trailblazer, Trax, Blazer, or go big in a new Silverado HD. No payments for 90 days. You're going to love no payments all the way through spring into summer. Financing as low as 1.9. Your good credit deserves it, and you get it. Military and first responders, you always get this from Drew DePriest and his team, and you always will as long as he's there on Highway 78. Instant extra $500 bonus back. Thank you for your service. Test drive one of All-Star Chevy's hottest, barely driven certified Chevys, or pre-owned, you'll find in the same place at the same time anywhere. Suburbans, Tahoes, a Chevy Express passenger van, tons of Silverados. Bring any vehicle you want to sell to All-Star, whether you bought it there or not, and you'll get the most money back for it on your trade. Together, let's drive to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Don't miss the truck month sale going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. For more information, you can always go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, let's get to our final break of the day. When we return, we'll wrap up today's show with Mo's Crunch Time.
Did you miss your favorite Sports 56 show? No! Check out the podcast, broken down hourly at sports56whbq.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss any Sports 56 show again with our podcasts available daily from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Cleanliness is next to impossible unless you call High-Low Commercial Services. For 15 years, High-Low's dedicated team has been cleaning offices throughout the Mid-South. High-Low's janitorial services are customized to your business. Clean once, quarterly, or ongoing, and get the JRD guarantee. We clean until you're satisfied. High-Low Commercial Services, the biggest and the best in the Mid-South. Visit MrCleanTeam.com. That's MrCleanTeam, MrCleanTeam.com for High-Low Commercial Services.
It's a new year, and it's the first new sale at Family Leisure. It's the floor model sale happening now. Family Leisure has deep, like diving deep discounts on over 100 display models and in-stock hot tubs, swim spas, even those cold plunges. How deep are these discounts? I'm not allowed to say. So if you've been putting off getting a new spa, then right now is the best time to buy. Here's one price I can let loose. You can get a spa as low as $99 a month. Plus, you can get over $1,000 in upgrades with every spa purchased. One other special deal, you can get an $8,000 spa for only $159 a month. And you know what? Family Leisure is going to throw in some LED lights and waterfalls on most models. Room's got to be made, and so do the deals at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Memphis, ready to play golf whenever you want? Now you can. Welcome to Back Nine Golf, Memphis' premier indoor golf facility built for players who never want to leave the game. Open 24/7 for members, Back Nine Golf features 4 tour-level full-swing simulators letting you take on bucket list courses like St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, and TBC Sawgrass without leaving the Mid-South. Grab your friends, book a bay, play a full round, or hit the driving range to work on your game with instant shot data trusted by the pros. Memphis, you don't have to be a member to tee it up. Public tee times are also available. Rain, heat, wind, or daylight doesn't matter. Your tee time is always on. Visit theback9golf.com/Memphis for more information. That's theback9golf.com/Memphis. Back 9 Golf, just off Poplar at Houston Levy. The Back 9, where golf never sleeps.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback with hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
It's takeover time, and you'll know when. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and the takeover time I mentioned is when your house has been on the market for so long and you want somebody to come in, take over, properly market it, and get it sold. People often say when you want the job done, call Sheldon, because I have a highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and when. It involves preparation before you go on the market, along with proper presentation and accurate pricing based on our ever-changing market and rates, and being made aware of what's going on around you so you can make intelligent decisions, not merely guessing. Call me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com and let me take your listing over and get it sold. I may be lousy at golf, but I sure do sell some homes. Call me, Sheldon Rosengarten, 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need catering? Moe's Taco Truck is always ready to cater for you. Just give Jenny Nash a call at 901-606-3172. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco Crunch Time emergencies.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This game has always been called the world's greatest cocktail party. Do you know what is going to happen here tonight?
This is for all the biggest Crunch Time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Crunch time between the hedges.
The ball game is over, and Memphis has its first win in 16 tries, its first win ever against its fierce in-state rival Tennessee.
Goodbye!
It's obviously Crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com, it's your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. Well, Brett, what I learned today is that Major League Baseball gets started tonight in just a little bit more than an hour in sunny San Francisco. The Yankees and the Giants will get us started. It will be available only on Netflix. So if you want to watch it, you've got to have a Netflix subscription in order to watch the game. But we know tomorrow is really when a lot more teams get kicked off, and then into the weekend when every team will get their season started. It will be a lot of fun to watch this matchup tonight, just to have baseball, regular season baseball in action. And for a lot of people in this area, a lot of Tennessee fans, the first game for Tony Vitello in his major league coaching career. That's tonight, and it's not easy against the New York Yankees.
It's not easy. Tony Vitello as the skipper of the Giants. How about that? I learned opening night tonight in baseball like you, not at the Polo Grounds with Mantle versus Mays or Leo DeRocher versus Casey Stengel, but Aaron Judge versus Matt Chapman involved for life. Tony Vitello versus Aaron Bleeping Boone.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really can't wait for this game later tonight, and certainly tomorrow when the Cardinals, a lot of other teams get started. It's baseball season. It's officially here, which is really fun to see. What I could have done without, we talked about in our last segment, but the news that came out last night about Ja Morant in particular, and that he will miss the rest of the season, and likely ending his Grizzlies career in terms of on the courts. Most likely that deal will be made this offseason to move him, and so it feels like we've seen the last of Ja Morant. We talked about it a lot in our previous segment. Just very unfortunate how this played out. Just injury after injury after injury, keeping him off of the court. And now, obviously, where the Grizzlies are at, no reason to bring him back this season and risk anything. So he'll be done until the offseason. We'll see if anything happens with him. But the Zach Edey thing, we talked about, we joked about it, but it is concerning, all of these operations, procedures, surgeries that the big fella has had in 2 seasons in the league.
I could have done without what we're watching play out every day with Tigers basketball. It's really remarkable. They don't draw, they don't advance, there's lots of drama, but while the rest of the sport keeps raising the bar of expectations, the Tigers keep lowering it in the love fest for Penny. Next year, at the end of next year, that will have to change.
Yeah, and I hope that it will, if it goes the same, and certainly if it goes the same way it did this season. I think a lot of people will know that that is the end of this era. But we'll see, obviously, a lot of important things to do this offseason. Where are you beaming tonight?
Oracle Park with the statue of the great Willie Howard Mays out in front, and those views that are stunning at that ballpark of all the, and it's 26 years old now, it's not new anymore, but all of the new retro-looking ballparks, it's one of the best I've been to. Bombers and Giants, it's not evocative of opening day, but I don't mind it.
No, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I thought you were going to beam to some NIT action tonight, so you fooled me
opposite
there. Yes, no, I did not think you were going to beam to any NIT action. We do have that tonight, but beam me to an NBA game later tonight, a 6:30 start. Thunder and Celtics. This is a game that was played in Oklahoma City just a few weeks ago, and it was one of the best basketball games I've watched this season. Just both teams locked in defensively. Everyone was locked in. It was a low-scoring game. Came down to a late-game shot that put Oklahoma City on top. Now in Boston, this Cavaliers team, the Celtics team has been rolling. Should be a really, really fun one up in Boston tonight.
Victor Wembanyama in downtown Memphis tonight with Spurs and the Grizzlies. Sneaky good game, Atlanta at Detroit. But before we meet again, all the baseball that will have been played. Baseball on Channel 5 tomorrow at noon on NBC, and then a night game. Buccos in Gotham against the Mets, Nats and Cubs. Let's go.
Yeah, going to be a lot.
Let's be introduced out to the line.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you mentioned that Hawks-Pistons game on ESPN at 6 o'clock later tonight, 8:30. We'll have Rockets T-Wolves on ESPN as well. And you mentioned all of those games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 games before we start tomorrow's show with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games starting within the first 15 minutes of the show tomorrow. And then you've got 2 games later tonight. So it's going to be a ton of baseball action.
And credit to the scheduler. There's not that crazy cold weather place. There's 1 or 2 that could be. New York could be cold, Philadelphia. But it's not any of those extreme, like sending San Diego to the Mets. Why don't you just send the Mets to San Diego?
Yeah, no.
Either domes or
Yeah.
Pretty temperate weather.
Yeah, no, it looks like
Watch it
it's
snow
going to be a lot of fun.
New York tomorrow.
Yeah, but it does. This schedule lays out really, really nicely, and it looks like a lot of fun tonight. Should be a blast tomorrow. Tonight, with the one game we have, all the NBA action. If the NIT gets excited, I'll probably tune in to a little NIT action later tonight. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.